And a very good morning from the Ageas Bowl, where it's a charity double-header today. More on that in a moment, but getting underway in a few minutes' time is our Lashings World XI are playing against Hampshire Legends side. Interesting game to kick things off. Later on this afternoon from 2:30 we've got the Southern Vipers against the Southeast Stars, and with you all day for both these matches is myself and Melissa Story, who's just got in here fresh. Well, say fresh, I'm not sure whether it's fresh from our trip back from Nottingham. What a quarter-final it was, first of all, Mel.
Absolutely incredible to be up there, and well worth getting back at 2:30 in the morning.
Yes, it was. Right, okay, so right, let's give you the details. The Lashings won the toss here, and they are going to bat first. Let me give you the Hampshire side as I've got here. Jimmy Adams, former Hampshire captain. Sean Morris, a former Hampshire opening batsman. We'll go through more as they sort of develop and do things during the game, but this is just a brief introduction. Paul Pritchard, who's making a guest appearance, a former Essex captain. Sean Irvine, former Hampshire all-rounder. John Stevenson, a former Hampshire captain. James Fuller, current Hampshire player. Alfonso Thomas, who's the bowling coach here, former Somerset player, amongst many other teams. James Tomlinson, former Hampshire left-arm seamer. John Turner, a current seamer for Hampshire, who's been playing in the 50-over competition. Darren Flint, a former left-arm spinner, and James Boville, a former Hampshire seamer. That is the Hampshire team this morning, and the Lashings, we're not quite sure in batting order, but this is their team. They are captained by the former Surrey and England seam bowler Martin Bicknell, Richard Levy, the South African who's been playing for Northants this year in the T20 competition. Oish Shah, a former England batsman who had some games down here in the T20. James Troughton, former Warwickshire captain who won the championship with them as well. Chris Schofield, the former Lancashire, Surrey and England leg spinner. Chris Lewis, the former England all-rounder. John Emburey, the former Middlesex and England off-spinner. Charles Willoughby, the former Somerset left-arm seamer, he's South African as well. Hugo Hammond, oh, that might ring a bell for different reasons. Former Love Island contestant this year. Mel's looked up at me when I said that. She's looking forward to seeing him. Manoj Oswal, who's the Lashings Club ambassador. Devon Malcolm, the former England Derbyshire and one or two other counties seamer. Callum Furness is the keeper from up north, and Chris Adams, the former Sussex and England batsman. So there are some changes in the Lashings side from what you would have seen printed beforehand. No Usman Afzal and no Yasser Arafat. That's how the teams line up. It is a T20 game here. There are varying ages out there. The oldest player on the pitch is John Emburey at 69 years of age. Can you believe that? He is still playing. Mel, a lot of these names would have been way, way beyond you.
I am quite ashamed to say that the one I knew most out of that list was Hugo Hammond, Love Island star, and of course former England disability squad member. I've been doing a bit of research frantically this morning to try and learn who some of these players are, much to my parents' disgust.
So, yes, Hugo's actually already got 100 for the Hampshire Disability 11, but we'll come to that. As I say, as each of these players get involved in the game, we'll talk around that a little bit for you. There are a few people in this morning, hopefully a few more for the Vipers game this afternoon. Important game for the Vipers because they lost their last T20 game, so looking to return to winning ways against the Southeast Stars. Now, today's charity doubleheader is raising funds for the NHS and the Southampton Hospitals charity, and is hosted in partnership between Hampshire Cricket, the Hampshire Cricket Foundation and the Lashings World XI. The doubleheader is just one of the fundraising initiatives undertaken by Hampshire Cricket since the start of the pandemic, and in 2020, that was last year, the club raised over $50,000 to support the construction of a new rehabilitation space at the University Hospital Southampton, and has sought to raise more for the same cause again this year. There is a way you can donate. There are special prizes today. We'll go through that as this game unfolds, but it will be James Tomlinson opening the bowling from the pavilion end with his left arm seam, and he's going to be bowling to the South African Richard Levy, I mentioned earlier. Been playing for Northants in the T20 competition this year. You looking forward to this one, Mel?
I am, and especially watching Levy here, who's quite the big hitter of the ball.
He certainly is. Tomlinson gets one to swing, as he often did when he played for Hampshire. Just comes back into Levy. Nice start. You think some of these players might be a bit stiff when they won't be playing too much now, will they really? I'm looking at Darren Flint, who's on the 45 on the leg side, who's spin bowling coach here at Hampshire. Gosh, a long time since he played. Got a carpet fitting business now, would you believe? He does carpets. He's done a few carpets on my house. Tomlinson, again, that's another good ball to Levy.
Not lost his areas here, has he, already?
He looks as good as he did a while ago. James Tomlinson, 15 years at Hampshire between 2000 and 2016.
Just as I was born then.
What, 2000 or 2016?
2000, luckily. I think I'll be breaking records in the commentary box if it was 2016.
Is that weird, isn't it? He made his debut as you were born. There we go. Outside the off stump, and Levy just works that down to third man. So first runs on the board. I have to say it's a bit more sedate today than the atmosphere at Nottingham.
It is a bit quieter. It's nice to have the heart rate back at a sensible pace today, and hopefully as these clouds above us depart, it will be a bit warmer later on into the afternoon and for the very important Vipers game, as you say.
Yeah, we got a bit excited there towards the end, didn't we, really? Wow, what a game that was. Don't see those games very often. They come along every few years if you're lucky.
And an all-South T20 finals day.
Incredible, wasn't it?
I mean, there was a lot of talk before the tournament, of course, that South group was the deaf group, and a lot of questions to be raised about the quality between the two groups after that. But either way, Hampshire to finals day is perhaps something we didn't expect.
That's right. Now the left-hander Chris Schofield. Oh, he's edged through to the keeper. Good catch, Jimmy Adams. Oh, yes, sir. Wow, why didn't we see more of him keeping when he played? What a catch that was, Mel.
Looking at that replay there, just a bit of movement we've seen before, and a diving catch to his left and two slips in place. Is that a golden duck?
It is. Chris Schofield. I mean, at one time he was fated as England's sort of next big hope as a leg spinner. Actually did play a couple of tests back at the turn of the century, a couple of T20 internationals as well. But wow, I think he's a bit unlucky there with that delivery. That was a great delivery.
I think he is, and I mean, it's what they always say about coming back into the game. When you've had a bit of a break, it's always harder to get back into batting, getting that form back to you, and it's a pretty hard first ball to be facing. You could say he may have reached for it a bit there, but that'd be being quite harsh.
Wow. So the Lashings are 1-for-1 here. It's an interesting move, actually, to win the toss and bat first. Mind you, I mean, when you look down that order, I mean, well, certainly of yesteryear, there's some serious batting there. But obviously they don't do too much these days. Well, I don't think they do.
Maybe a similar score to what we saw on Wednesday night of around 120. A run a ball kind of score might
We'd
be.
settle for that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I'll be happy. Not many sixes, I don't think, are being expected in this first game here today.
No, I don't think so. Shah is the new man. He's 42 years of age now. 6 tests and 71 internationals for Shah, and 17 T20 internationals.
And this is a name I recognise from the list. I mean, slightly towards the end of his career, I was starting to notice him, so it's good to see him out in the middle today.
Yeah, a lot of IPL experience over the years as well. Right-hander facing James Tomlinson. You have to be careful here, the way Tomlinson's bowling. That's swung down the leg side, and Adams dives but can't get it. And that has gone for 4 wides.
Just noticed they've got a pretty central wicket here. I mean, we've got a great view behind, at the moment, behind the wicket keeper, but they've been treated to a very good wicket here.
They are, yeah. I should imagine the Vipers will be playing on this later on this afternoon.
Yeah, it looks a good wicket. A bit in there for the bowlers. There's a few green tints, even up here from the gantry.
Yeah.
And obviously with this cloud cover, bit of swing in the air.
Yeah, certainly for James Tomlinson. He did it really well over the years for Hampshire. 382 first-class games, Tomlinson. Well, I think he's pulled the bat away there, Levy. Give him benefit of the... Shah. It went through to Adams.
Absolute pearl of a delivery,
it's
this one.
Great bowling, isn't it?
Why did he ever retire?
Well, I tell you what, this is one of the reasons I didn't play. I got asked last Saturday,
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, it might have been a late call. I don't know whether they were short or not, but I got asked last Saturday, being in the Southern Brave box for the final at Lord's, and I don't know. It was probably a couple of years on the wrong side for me, to be honest. Tomlinson bowl, especially with this bowling. That's a leg ball played out on the offside.
I mean, I'm just hearing a lot of excuses because John Emburey is playing today. So, you know, 69 years of age, and you're saying that it's two years too late for you.
I knew we were going to say that.
A lot of excuses.
I knew you were going to say that because I looked at all the ages of the players, and they are all. I think the closest to me would have been. Well, Sean Morris is 52 now on the Hampshire side. Martin Bicknell's 52. Chris Lewis is 53, so they would have been. Devon Malcolm is 58, but he's a late inclusion, so he's 2 years younger than me. But John Emburey would have been. He's the one that's blown me out of the water.
I mean, spin bowler, am I correct?
Yes, off spinner. Yeah, Middlesex in England. Yeah.
You just keep getting better as a spinner. I mean, he's probably hitting. You know, we could see his peak bowling today.
He'll be good. I tell you, he was very competitive when he was at Middlesex. We played a few games together.
So
in the early 80s. Alfonso Thomas. Yes.
Now, this is a name I'm excited to see. Very quick bowler in his time.
It was.
And just down at the leg side, as we see, a bit loose to begin with.
Always a wide. Oh, that's harsh. Well, maybe.
I was going to say, is it all leg side wides in this game? Or?
Well, they are. This is going to test a few of them, I should think. 44 years old now, Alfonso Thomas. Played for Somerset between 2008 and 2015.
Hardly looks it. Come on, look at him.
He doesn't, does he?
You can tell he's going to be ramping up this pace now. And that's a good shot there from Levy. Just another single there, and happy to just work it around.
I think it's a bit unfair, isn't it? You've got a current player playing in this. And several of these guys, if they play the odd game here and there, that's about all they do.
I mean, yeah, the likes of James Fuller and... I mean, we're saying John Turner. I'd hope them maybe bowling just off a couple steps today, or maybe just take the gloves, take it in turns. I think it'd be a bit cruel if they suddenly go bowling change at the pavilion end, John Turner, and he's got the full run up. I think Shah would be a bit worried about that. Another defensive shot there, so respectful to Alfonso Thomas.
It's quite nice, actually, because obviously, Mel, as you say, a lot of these players would have played before you were even born, or certainly when you were too young to even know what cricket was about. But, you know, I can remember virtually all these and played against quite a few of them and with quite a few of them. And, you know, it's quite, even just seeing Shah playing that forward defensive there, I think, gosh, I saw that so many times. Not when I was bowling to him, by the way.
Another wide there. Oh, not called by the umpire. So there's clearly a bit of leniency here, who I think have recognised that if they call everything down the leg side wide, we might be here at night. Poor Vipers waiting on the side of the pitch, begging to go on. Quite a few more in the crowd here now. Starting to build up. That Fuller ball. And there's an appeal from the bowler, but nothing from the umpire. Who are our umpires today?
I have to say, I don't know. I might try and find that out.
Looking at that replay, I mean...
It's not a great angle, the replay, really, is it? It was angled in, wasn't it, in a way?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some movement out here. Of course, raising money for Southampton Hospitals Trust. And that ball worked away into the leg side. A nice leg glance there from Shah, and this could be a 4. This is the second boundary so far. Lashings 12 for 1. And just a charity, I think a lot of people in the Hampshire and Southampton area have been incredibly supportive of, especially since the start of this pandemic. Of course, a few clubs at Southampton University, including the men's cricket side, raised, I think, around £4,000 for Southampton Hospitals Trust last summer.
Really?
The mistimed pull shot off that. I'm going to say not particularly a bouncer, but perhaps we can say a back-of-the-hand slower ball bouncer just for the sake of this. And another over gone then for the Lashings. Do you see on 12 for 1?
So your uni raised some money?
Yeah, so the SUC which is an unfortunate spelling of the name. Southampton University Men's Cricket Club. They went and raised, I think it was probably over £4,000 in the end, after the cancellation of their tour, which, of course, most people, if you know university tours, requires going abroad somewhere and drinking quite a lot. It got cancelled because of COVID, so they decided to run the distance to Croatia and back within 2 weeks.
Ooh. Now, Tomlinson bowls new over. He's trying to whip that away on the leg side there. Levy misses it, goes through to Adams.
So, yeah, about 60 to 100 members, I can't quite remember in the end, from old boys to current members, all came together in those, I think it was the first 2 weeks of lockdown almost, and took to the streets running, and I think it was the most active I've ever been in my life. But all for a very worthy cause, of course, and it goes to supplying hospitals with much needed equipment to connect families and patients, especially iPads and the likes of that.
Okay, always playing a missing again there, Levy. Some of these balls are swinging from Tomlinson and some aren't. He's causing just as many problems as he did 5 or 6 years ago. Great stuff.
Do you reckon he'll be fit for T20 finals day?
Will I? Or will he?
No, will he?
I was going to say, he looks all right now, doesn't he? He didn't play that many one-day games for Hampshire, actually. He was always sort of known more as a 4-day man. Played very little.
Getting back for the second half of the county championship, I'm sure.
Bowls again. Levy pulls that away in the air. Doesn't quite get hold of it. Ball goes out towards backward square leg. That's a good bit of fielding. Who's that down there? John Turner, that is.
Oh,
athletic.
Athletic, and you know what? This is an epitome of club cricket, you could say. You always put the young ones either on the boundary or a bit dangerously close to the bat. I know whenever I do my 4-for-11 cricket with caution, I'm usually on the boundary.
Are you? Because you're quicker than most.
Oh, not sure about that one.
Tomlinson to Levy. Levy works that away past Stevenson at backward point. That's going to might go for runs, was it? Oh, Alfonso picks it up just in front of the rope at backward point. That's a good piece of fielding as well from the 44-year-old.
Alfonso Thomas, completely unrecognisable from the young 22 or so year old on the other side of the pitch.
He's bowling coach at Vipers as well, isn't he? Or part-time, does he do the Vipers as well? I think he does. So he's got a long day ahead of him. Oh, that's another good delivery. Good carry through to Adams. This is great bowling. This is another reason why I said, no, I'm not playing today. Absolutely no way. There is an online auction today. You can probably see that on the stream in the top right-hand area of your screen. The online auction is going through till this evening, so you still have time to make a donation. There are many prizes on offer. I'll run through one or two. Oh, Tomlinson just loses his run up there. There's 6 mixed bottles of Sir Ian Botham's finest wines, so you can bid on that. James Vince has signed a shirt. Wow, what a week he's had with the Brave and also with Hampshire. That's played on the onside by Levy. Sorry, by Shah, that is. Oh, that is Levy. The scoreboard's already moved over. That looks like the end of the over.
A lot of good luck in that James Vince shirt. To
Oh,
whoever is lucky enough to win that, after receiving that, you'll probably have the best week of your life.
You get that sometimes, don't you? Somebody that's having a really good sort of spell of things, you want to sort of go up and sort of just touch them
I
and
felt
hope
like
some of that
at
rubs
Trent
them.
Bridge. Got a bit too close. I was just gazing in the end. Just be within the radius to gain some of this confidence and luck. So Alfonso Thomas continuing for another over. I think we're set to see some quite traditional spells here, I think. Either 2-3 overs kind of thing. And we saw on Wednesday night at that quarterfinals, there was a lot of 1 over spells, which is a bit more common in the T20 Blast and, the 100.
That's right.
Wouldn't mind a five ball spell, me. It's always the last ball goes for the 4. Levy on strike. Then that's a slash, which has evaded the not so athletic fielding. And 2 runs there for Lashings, moving them on to 18 for 1.
Jimmy Boville there on the 45 on the leg side. Former Hampshire seam bowler between 93 and 97. I'm sure we'll see him shortly.
Seam bowlers, especially me being born, weren't always the most athletic of fielders, were they?
No.
For the ball, just driven back to the bowler for no run.
More prizes on offer in the online auction. Go to the Hampshire Cricket website and just open up the relevant page. Go on the charity doubleheader section. There's a luxury spa day for 2 here at the Euphoria Spa at the Hilton Hotel here. Southern Vipers signed shirt as well. Jack Nicklaus signed Masters presentation print.
Short ball again, and attempted to uppercut that almost from Levy, but doesn't make contact with the ball.
He's not making contact with too many at the moment, is he? 13 T20 internationals for South Africa. That was back in 2012.
Has had some tremendous innings, as you say, for Northants over the years. I remember in that golden streak of them qualifying for T20 finals day, he was quite instrumental in that process.
Yeah, he was. He's been a good player.
Short ball, and it's cut in the air. This could be a second wicket, and the catch is taken. So Lashings 19 for 2 now, and a very frustrated Levy goes to a short ball from Alfonso Thomas.
And caught by the former Hampshire captain John Stevenson. Nice catch from him. I played under him.
I must say, I'm going to be absolutely hopeless with names today.
They're all way before your time, don't worry about that. I know all you want is Hugo Hammond to come out. That's all you're interested in, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm being messaged lots of potential things to say when he's out in the middle from my friend.
Are you?
Love Island and cricketing, I guess, crossover statements which can be made.
Well, when he's batting, I will let you just totally take over.
Thank you, I appreciate that. The closest I'll get to Love Island, I'll tell you that.
So, in the 4th over here of this first of 2 charity T20 double headers today here at the Ageas Bowl. Sunny Ageas Bowl at the moment, which is lovely. All raising money for a worthwhile cause. I mentioned those prizes. You'll see it in the top right of your screen. Text NHS 20 to 70085, where you can donate £5 as well. So the new batsman for Lashings is
James Troughton.
James Troughton, yeah, former Warwickshire player.
Hopefully some better luck for the Bears here today than last night.
Yes.
That ball, just another dot onto the Lashings score. So it remains on 19 for 2.
Well, he was head coach actually until last year when the 2 parted company. So still has great affinity with the club. He will have no doubt followed or watched proceedings last night. They lost to Kent, didn't they, in the last of the T20 quarter-finals.
And again, that fuller ball defended very nicely there from Shah.
So have they got this the right way round? Yeah, that's right. Yes, Troughton to face next. That's right. Troughton has the, I guess it's brown helmet or maroon helmet. They've got different coloured helmets, the Lashings, haven't they, really?
I think there might be a COVID secure exchange of kit happening here today. I'm dusting off some cobwebs from pads in the cricket cupboards for a few of these players.
Tomlinson, 2 overs, 1 for 11. Alfonso Thomas, 2 overs, 1 for 8. Good start from the Hampshire Legends side. 19 for 2 Lashings. Chris Schofield for no score. He was out first ball to Tomlinson. Richard Levy skied a catch to John Stevenson at extra cover off Alfonso Thomas for 9. So we've got what? John Turner, the South African bowler who made his first team debut this year for Hampshire. Played in 6 matches in the Royal London One Day Cup. Took 7 wickets. A best of 3 for 44 against Worcestershire. That was here. And in his first game, his first wicket was none other than Essex's and former England batsman Sir Alistair Cook.
What a first wicket.
What a first wicket. What to remember.
I'm quite worried by the length of this run-up, though, I must admit.
Well, he can't be bowling the pace he's doing. That's actually not bad. Oh, it's got fallen. It's gone under the bat of Troughton there, the left-hander.
This is reminiscent of a...
Is he out? Oh, he was looking round. I don't know if he thought the bails had come off. Has it touched the bails, the ball?
I did hear a noise as it passed the bat, so maybe it almost caught the toe of the bat and went straight into the ground, but Jimmy Adams there having a look.
Or maybe Trout's just dug a piece out of the wicket or something as he janged his bat down. I don't know. I thought Adams was walking up to look at the bails.
You'll have a very angry Charlotte Edwards if they've dug anything out of this pitch before the Vipers game. Don't want to be on the wrong side of that.
I say, this is another reason why there's no way I was going to play, not with Turner bowling like this. Oh, he's bowled in, middle stump is out the ground. Oh, it's a perfect delivery, look at that. Off and leg stump, upright. And the middle stump has been knocked back by 4 or 5 yards. And Troughton, well, he played down the wrong line.
I mean, it's a bit of this is similar to Hampshire's power play on Wednesday against Nottingham, a bit below the rate and wickets falling quite rapidly. And this is reminiscent of a game played at university between the men's cricket team, which I had the fortune to umpire, and between one of the intramural rugby teams, who I think most of them either hadn't played cricket for a very long time or had never played cricket before. And by the end, the score was so low. By the end, there was overthrows going for 4s, just perhaps a bit too intentionally now and again. So whether we may see Hampshire resorting to some seamers bowling spin, but you know, I've got faith here in the Lashings lineup.
Well, let's hope so. Otherwise, this game is going to be a little bit one-sided. But I'm sure there is somebody in the Lashings side that will bring the score up to a reasonable amount. And could it be this man walking out to the middle now? Chris Adams, who I'm sure will be on the ground all day today because his daughter George Adams will be captaining the Vipers in their Charlotte Edwards Cup game this afternoon at 2:30. Stay with us for that one because that'll be on the live stream as well. That will also be on the BBC Sport website. Myself and Melissa will be bringing you live commentary of that.
So we see a few of the Vipers just walking their way around the boundary now. And I mean, Georgia Adams herself, she was in the runs a few days ago. I think 84 not out in the end, or she 88. Did, yeah. But I mean, in a losing battle, which is not common to say, if one of your players gets 80 odd in a T20, but Mary Kelly 100 off 58 balls, I think.
For the Central Sparks. Yeah, it was unusual, wasn't it? We were at Nottingham, of course, bringing you live commentary of that game, and we looked at the result. We thought, gosh, the Vipers have lost. So Turner bowls to Adams. That's outside of off stump. So Chris Adams, 51 years of age now, played 5 tests and 5 one-day internationals for England between 98 and 2000. Started off at Derbyshire, but it was Sussex where he really made his name. Led Sussex as captain to their first title in 2003. It was also a double trophy for them in 2006. They won the championship and the C&G trophy. Also won the championship in 2007. Had a great career at Sussex. Pushing it out on the offside. Nice accurate stuff here from Turner, as you would expect, off the back of those games for the Royal London, or in the Royal London One Day Cup.
I'm just thinking of that umpire there. Is that the Hampshire coach, or is around the setup? Is that Chris Wheeler?
Chris Wheeler, yeah, he's the Hampshire dressing room attendant. You're right.
Recognise those silver locks
yes,
from anywhere.
Well done, you. That's another good length ball there. Well played by Adams. Yes, well done.
Quite impressed with that myself. Usually I can't see a thing from up here. We're so high up.
Unfortunately, I'm not quite so lucky with the umpire at square leg at the moment.
I think perhaps, yeah, that might be one which Cricket Info can let us know.
Not sure they'll be covering this game. That's cut down to third man by Adams. He's off the mark. That's fielded by Paul Pritchard, former Essex captain, who now lives in Bournemouth. Director of cricket at Dorset as well. They're not minor county anymore, of course, they're national county. But it's been looking after cricket down there for a while. So 5 overs gone here in this contest between the Hampshire Legends and the Lashings World XI, or the Hampshire All Stars XI, probably to give them their proper name. 20 for 3, Lashings in trouble.
A slow start, but as we said, we could see some acceleration here, and not the largest boundaries, you would say. You'd expect them just to perhaps come in a bit on the size of the Vipers game, but actually they might actually just stay where they are. They're reasonable sized boundaries, a bit shorter straight, but plenty of opportunity for 2s to both wider boundaries. And who's this coming on to bowl? Is this John Stevenson?
It is.
Slightly unconventional action, and that shorter ball was just worked to the sweeper on the offside. He very leisurely jogs in to get the ball.
He was only of a medium pace, but I think his arm's a little bit lower than it used to be.
Got quite an unusual action I've just seen from that first ball. Of course, never seen him
it?
bowl before, but pretty on target first ball. And again, the ball in the same spot and the same result. Just slashed away to the deep cover fielder, who I think is very content to allow these Lashings batsmen to get in for the singles. No strong desire to push for these twos, as you would expect.
Now, he's one of the one test wonders.
Oh,
John
okay.
Stevenson, yeah, he played one test against the Australians at the Oval in 1989.
What an opposition, and what a ground to make your one test, and that should be called a wide. It is. A lot of outswing there in that delivery from Stevenson, but just began wide and finished up a bit too wide.
Yeah, it's a very round-armed, I have to say. You will love this stat, Mel. Hopefully everybody else watching this will as well. He was player number 29 in that series.
Oh my
The 29th player used.
In again then, and just hit, but this time to extra cover for no run. And I mean, I was listening to the of course the test match yesterday, and I think they were saying even from the tests earlier this season, England's only got about 3 players who have remained the same across their few teams. Just been plagued by so many injuries and changes, and players needing to take breaks for their mental health. And I mean, sounds similar to that series
does,
with
doesn't it?
29, and that player was an unusual shot there from Adams, who almost looked like he didn't see the ball.
That's what I thought.
I think it's been signalled dead ball now. The batter perhaps not ready there. He just stood still and allowed the ball to hit him in a very unusual fashion, and doesn't appear to be anyone walking by in the bowler's arm, so perhaps he simply wasn't ready.
That was weird, doesn't it? I just noticed John Stevenson doing some stretches there. He's probably feeling it already. He's only bowled 4 balls. He's going to be Essex's chief executive come October.
Fuller straighter ball, and that's much better
Stevenson.
there from Stevenson.
Oh, Fuller.
Oh.
I thought you meant James Fuller.
Oh, no.
That does get confusing, isn't it? Because when he
Well,
does bowl
when
full.
he does, it's a Fuller
It is.
Fuller ball from Fuller.
It is.
Seen any of the recent transfer news about? I noticed Chris Jordan.
Yes.
Seen moving to Surrey, going to captain their T20 competition, and then Sussex, the East Coast rivals, losing Phil Salt as well to Lancashire.
I know.
And again, Fuller born driven confidently, but the outstretched right hand of the fielder there at extra cover prevents that going for any runs.
I think Jordan started at Surrey.
Yeah, and they said a good return, but I mean, 2 big blows for Sussex. And it'd be lovely if they could transfer just before T20 finals day, I must say. But Hampshire, between the draw against Somerset.
Yeah. Gosh. Oh dear. Yes.
Hopefully,
Well, I suppose any of those games would have been tough, wouldn't
yeah, recreation of their game against Somerset here would be wonderful.
they? Yes.
Stevenson, and again, that's cut off the back foot, and is that John Turner having to make his way round, or is that Alfonso Thomas?
That's Alfonso, isn't it?
Who just allows that for the single. So finally that over comes to an end. 6 overs gone now. Lashings 24 for 3. So a few more runs on the board from that over, and is this the end of the power play? Might see a bit of spin.
Well, he might do. It's about time, isn't it? I presume there is a power play in this. I mean, nobody's actually. I'm not sure that that they won't be taking it too seriously out there. Listen, even though these guys, some of them have given the game up a long time ago, they'll still want to play for pride. But whether they're sort of worrying too much about power plays and that sort of thing, I'd be very surprised. But who knows? So Chris Schofield out first ball for no score. Richard Levy for 9. James Troughton for no score are the 3 out for the Lashings so far, and Chris Adams is going to face John Turner. Foolish delivery, which is off an inside edge, really goes out square on the leg side. Don't forget, of course, both these games, and especially this one this morning, is all about raising some money for the NHS and Southampton Hospitals charity, hosted in partnership between Hampshire Cricket and the Hampshire Cricket Foundation and the Lashings World XI. You can donate throughout the day, as that's a nice drive through extra cover from Shah on the up. And they're going to run 2 as well. Well, jog 2. I think run might have been a bit over the top. It's a comfortable 2. The online auction is currently running, well, will run all the way through till 7 o'clock this evening. So go to the website ageasbowl.com/auction. You can take a look at the prizes. I mentioned them earlier. You can have a bid. He was trying to swat that away on the leg side there. Shah, half shout for an LBW, but his foot is way outside off stump. That was an Shah shot in his heyday.
It was. It's the flick into the leg side, and
yeah.
I know that's my dad, if he's listening, that's his prime shot. Just lean it and flick it into that, vacant square leg region where the fielder's on the boundary. But what do you think about LBW calls today? Do you think we're not going to be seeing many?
I think it would have to be plum, wouldn't it? We'd have to be giving it from here. Now, there's the swat. There's the Shah swat. And we saw that a few times here when he played for Hampshire. And that is a really good shot.
That is a good shot. And he's taken that almost from just off stump, maybe just moving towards the stumps a bit more. And we said we weren't expecting many sixes, but at this rate, I'd quite like to see a few more of those from Shah.
Absolutely fantastic shot. He was one of the sort of in the early days of England player, when there wasn't too many England players going over to the IPL. Shah was a regular there. Rajasthan Royals, the Kolkata Knight Riders, Delhi Daredevils, Kochi Tuskers Kerala in those days. He played a lot.
He's made the rounds.
Yeah,
a few England players, of course, play for, I think, the Rajasthan Royals now, I think.
Yeah.
Although I think it might be Chris Jordan and Joss Butler, Ben Stokes, who are all currently not playing.
Royals, well, here's another link to the Royals, as nice length ball played back to the bowler. Sean Morris, who's in the Hampshire side, is a former CEO of the Rajasthan Royals.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I always keep one eye on the IPL, I must say. And when there was all this talk of the 100 competition coming, and whether there's these teams affiliated with certain IPL teams, and that could still happen in the future, which could be quite interesting.
Definitely. Didn't time that one sharp. He still looks good, Shah, doesn't he? Really. 42 years of age. Now, he played some cricket down here for Hampshire. Played 6 T20s in 2014. Averaged 52 in those 6 innings. And he played, I think, just about the whole season in 2015, where he played 16 T20s.
Again, does he fancy coming back just for 1 or 2 more games? Hopefully 2. With that kind of average, that was almost half of our runs on Wednesday.
I know many people felt that he probably didn't make the most of his talent, and I think you can level that at a lot of people, but he was a seriously good one-day player, especially T20s. As I say, you don't play in all those IPL teams for nothing.
Kind of one of those players of that perhaps older generation who kind of, you could say was a bit of a trailblazer, started playing some of those inventive shots, but just early for his time as he had dot ball in that first ball of the over.
Yeah. Good lad as well.
A few more people just starting to make their way in here now, and the stand to our right being bathed in a bit of sunlight peeking between the clouds.
It's nice.
Stevenson again. That's a back foot defensive shot and good running from the Lashings 11.
Yeah, you don't want to see him pull a hammy.
I feel we may be in for some injuries today. There'll be some cramp administration in the middle with the classic lifting of the leg. Due to rain, I haven't played in about 4 weeks now, so I think I'm just as rusty as them.
When's your next game?
It's Monday, and that ball hardly driven to mid-on for no run.
Or for Hursley.
Yeah, bank holiday. Hursley versus club in Kent, St Lawrence and Highlands, so if anyone's listening and recognises that club.
Are they near the St Lawrence ground in Canterbury?
So there's 2 clubs in our league who are 15 minutes within each other, which is oddly convenient for them, but not for anyone else in the league. So that ball driven back to Stevenson for no run. So if you ever complain about an away fixture from either of those 2 teams, I just won't be having it.
You're right, Mel. There's a good crowd building up now, isn't there? Definitely in the last 15 minutes or so. Good day to watch some cricket.
I'm sure a few of these members of the crowd hoping at the end there can be some COVID-safe selfies and stuff with some of the stars from when they were growing up, or the Love Island stars from this year. I know which one I'd do.
Did I mention that he was in the box 2 along from us on Saturday at Lord's for the Southern Brave final? Yeah, I was lucky to be invited into one of 2 Southern Brave boxes there, actually, because each team had a box for the women's and the men's finals in the 100, and of course Southern Brave, having the men's and the women's team there, had 2 boxes, and he was 2 along from us.
Another defensive shot just pushed into the offside and allows them to get through for a single. It's quite a big flex there from you, being up in the Southern Brave box, hanging out with celebrities and influencers.
Unfortunately, it wasn't in ours, or maybe fortunately, depends which way you look at it. I know if you'd been there, you'd have been saying he was disappointed he was a little way away from us. But of course, he's keen on his cricket, isn't he? Really, still involved in the Hampshire disability setup. But keen on his cricket, loves his cricket.
I'm surprised. I always imagined if I was put in the Love Island villa, I'd be teaching every other islander how to play cricket about 2 days in. I'd be beyond bored and just begging them to give me something which resembles a bat and a ball, just so I could be like, right, this is how you bowl leg spin. By the time we're out of this villa, you'll be playing for your club. Second 11, I guarantee you.
So here's Jimmy Boville then, former Hampshire seam bowler, right arm over, and he's right on the money as well. First up, we like that. Adams just plays it back to the bowler. Jimmy Boville, who's 50 years of age now, 38 first-class matches and 26 List A for Hampshire between 93 and 97.
Very impressive.
Yeah, played on the same side as him a few times.
I think there's been a couple of net sessions here for some of these bowlers.
They don't look the worst, some of them. He did play some minor county cricket when he finished with Hampshire for Berkshire. Oh, now there could be a chance of a run out. Oh, a throw at the bowler's end from Sean Irvine. This misses the stumps. I think Adams, I don't know, difficult to tell on this angle because we're right high up in the hotel end.
Maybe snuck in a few just bowling sessions just to loosen up the arm there in the indoor school at the Ageas Bowl. And I mean, I don't blame them. You've got a crowd like this, you want to impress.
Definitely. Boville. Ooh, Shah's playing a missing outside the off stump. That's a nice delivery. That's a nice ball, isn't it? I just love the way some of these guys are playing. Scotty Toll making it. Mr. Blofeld is in the room. Mr. Blofeld, how are you? Good to see you. You all right? That's Scotty. No, you're not at all. That's cut away. What a beautiful shot through extra cover from Ois Shah. He looks like he's never been away, Ois Shah. Henry would have loved watching Ois over the years. I certainly did. So how are we going to do this? Do you want an over or so and then come in and join us, Henry? You do whatever you want. Well, we'll let Melissa sit aside for a little while, and then you come on this side, if that's all right with you, Henry. I mean, listen, Henry, you're royalty. You're commentary royalty. You can do what you like. If you say to me, disappear, Kev, for an hour, I will go and do that. Oh, right. It was your eyes. That was the only reason you gave up. Otherwise, there would have been more of you. Oh, gosh.
I think we need to invent stronger prescriptions then, just to bring back this voice into the box.
All right, so we got Chris Adams at the far end, Henry, and we've got Ois Shah at the near end, and that's the end of the over. Come in alongside me.
Is Ois Shah wearing a pink hat?
Ois Shah is wearing the yellow hat. Yeah, I can't see a pink hat out there, Henry, so that's a good start. Right, yeah, you can look. Yeah, you can see. Henry, listen, we'll help you along. You want to do up to the end of the innings? That's great. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do a few overs with you, and I'll let Melissa do some with you as well. Are you happy with that? Melissa does commentary with me.
And I'll just sit and gossip on the side.
Yeah, come on this side.
That'll be all right.
I haven't got enough microphones. I needed another thingy, otherwise all three of us could have been on. But don't worry, Henry, we'll... Yeah, but I need another thing. It won't work otherwise. I'll tell you what we could do. Actually, this is a great idea. Melissa, do you want... or perhaps I might get Scotty. If you grab that microphone under there... I'll just turn that off for a minute so it sounds like we're in a box. That's down the leg side. We've got a new bowler on for Hampshire, who's Darren Flint, Hampshire's left-arm spinner. Right, OK. Right, Melissa, you can talk into that one. How's that?
Oh, this is...
And Henry's on that one.
Well, I took this one here.
Yeah, there you go. We're all of us are on.
All of us are on my dear old thing. However, it's rather a good sweep. That's gone away. Is that going away 4? It's gone away into the far distance and fielded there at fine legs. Lovely to be back here. Goodness, I suppose last time I watched a game of cricket here was probably the last year I commentated, which was 2017.
Was it?
I remember doing a one-day match here that year. Yes, I do. And who we got bowling?
Darren Flint, former Hampshire left-arm spinner.
Former Hampshire, but I'm not, actually, I've just arrived. You've got to bring me absolutely up to date. This is a Hampshire sort of select side, is it?
Yes, Hampshire All Stars.
Hampshire All Stars.
Yes.
With a few...
All Stars and X-Stars.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. And the man trying to sweep that one is Chris Adams, who you'll know, former England man and Sussex captain, who had great success as captain with Sussex.
Well, he did. Now, he began his career with Derby, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Played for England a bit, but it didn't quite work, did it?
That's right.
Oh, well, the old reverse sweep.
Oh, we love that. Don't we love
It
that?
is funny, isn't it? I can remember very well in Calcutta, in the World Cup final there, England against Australia, when Gatting did that to, was it Mark Taylor? I think he was, and Border, I think he was, to catch a square leg, and we all chastised him for playing such a heathen stroke, and now it's normal.
It is. You see it almost every other ball in T20 or on the 100. What do you think to the 100 now?
Well, I'm ambivalent about it. I think it's good fun. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's wonderful for the ladies. I think it's done them a huge amount of good, which is wonderful. I think it's enigmatic in what it's going to do to proper Test cricket,
right.
To innings cricket. And we can go on with this in a moment.
Sure.
Flint bowling again. That one seemed to be pitched up, but he played it away off his pad, or tapped it away to short mid-wicket, where the gentleman with number 7 on his back picked it up. You'll have to tell me who he is.
Sean Irvine.
Sean Irvine.
Remember him?
Yes, I do.
Zimbabwean all-rounder, former Zimbabwean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's all bringing it all back, isn't it?
Well, I know it does when I... Yeah, it's rather like riding a bicycle, isn't it, in a funny sort of way. I should probably fall off in about 5 minutes.
As long as it's not actually off your chair, then it's all right.
I need a crash helmet, I think.
These chairs are quite high, aren't they, Henry?
Well, yes, not quite high enough. I'm going to pull mine a bit further forward because then I shall peer over the bell cast a bit better. I can now see short third man.
Who have we got now, Mel?
Shah playing it nicely down there to finally. Shah it was very sad that his England career didn't do rather. He went to India, didn't he? And he did rather well to start with.
IPL.
And then
well.
he's got a wonderful sort of old-fashioned technique, hasn't he? I say old-fashioned, correct.
Yeah.
But I wonder whether it's mentally whether it was quite up to it. That's a good stroke, isn't it, by Adams? He played that away off his pads. Very well fielded at wide mid-on. A bit of a tumble. And they run a single.
Do you know what? I looked it up. He only played 6 tests, Shah.
I know. It was that.
Isn't it?
Yes, it was. He made. I don't think he got 100. Did he? He made 80 in one of them.
I think that was his highest. Yeah, I think.
I think. I'm not. I can't really remember.
I'll have to look it up.
And now here he is. Oh, but that wasn't a very good stroke. He was in half a mind to pull that, realised it was as wide as it was, and then sort of was going to run it. I think in the end to third man. And he didn't get a nick, and he went through to the keeper, who is?
It is Jimmy Adams, former Hampshire captain.
Oh, Jimmy, I know, of course, former West Indies captain.
No, not that Jimmy Adams. But the same name.
Yes, I know. Don't worry. And Shah plays that one again nicely, straight out to deep mid-wicket, off his toes, and they run an easy single.
Jimmy Adams has already taken an absolutely wonderful catch. I think in the first over of the game so far, diving to his left. And dismissing.
Chris Schofield.
Oh,
Darling.
Scoey.
Yes, only lasted one ball.
Oh my dear.
Golden Duck.
Yeah,
Oh goodness, I was too late for that one.
you were. If you blinked, you'd missed it.
Down the leg side it looked, didn't it? He appealed, he tried to turn it round the corner and was hit on the pad, but I think it was going down, wasn't it?
Now, do you remember a few years ago, Henry, you commentated with me?
Yes,
on
I
the
do.
far side. Do you
Absolutely.
remember?
I do remember it very well indeed.
Yeah.
What fun we had, didn't
Yes,
we?
we did. Yes.
And I can't remember, I made a fool of myself, certainly then, as I usually do, but you kept me on the straight and narrow, I think. You haven't told me who this bowler is. That's
Jimmy Boville, former Hampshire seam bowler.
Jimmy Boville. Well,
Yep.
like
May not have been on your
Boville,
road.
like Bovril.
Yes.
And he plays. That's played away to mid-on by Adams, and again they get a single.
93 and 90, between 93 and 97, Jimmy Boville played for Hampshire. Just 38 first-class matches, but you maybe missed him on your radar.
No, I know the name of it well.
Do you? Good.
Oh yes, certainly. But you, actually, that's played away by Shah. He's bowling leg side most of the time, and he's playing that. I think 3 to 4 times that over. The ball was played away off the pads mid wicket, and so he wants really to straighten his line up just a little bit, doesn't he? Single there. I can't see what the score is. I haven't worked out where the scoreboard is.
Score 52 for 3.
Melissa's keeping me in on the straight and narrow there.
The youthful eyesight.
She's looking rather lovely too, isn't she? So we don't mind being put right by beauty.
Henry has not changed.
That's the great
believe me.
thing.
Can you imagine Henry a 30 or
That's
40
the
years
best
ago?
compliment I think I've ever received. As soon as you came up here, I was fangirling, so I'll take that every day.
Oh, well, my Darrow thing, well done. Isn't it? It's lovely ground. The sun's shining. There's the pavilion stand over there with the sort of sail roofs. It's absolutely splendid. The hills, the wood, the trees, the golf course behind us. And it's marvellous.
It is beautiful.
And it's Flint, left arm round the wicket again, running in rather gingerly. In bowls there to Shah, who pulls that away off the front foot. That's 4 runs. He hit it beautifully into the gap between wide, mid-on and deep mid-wicket, and that was 4. And that was a good stroke.
Was.
But
Full
ever
toss,
since
though.
I've been
Full
here...
toss, though, Henry. You'd have put that away in your day. Playing for Cambridge University, you'd have put that away.
My day was so far away, I can't remember. Sadly, my first Cambridge captain died 2 days ago, Ted Dexter.
Oh, goodness,
I played for Cambridge in '58, and he was captain, which is very sad. He was a great man. Wonderful cricketer. The last really of the old-fashioned amateurs, in a way.
Yeah. Henry, what was good about him? If you had to name one thing, what was good about him?
Well, that's Star again. He's opened his shoulder. That's in the air. Oh no! It was very nearly a catch to wide long on, but he ran in, did very well, but picked it up on the half volley, and in fact, did well to stop it. A butterfly flies past too, and just the single there.
Paul Pritchard, that on the boundary.
The old Essex captain.
Yeah.
Goodness me. Oh, Paul Pritchard. It looks rather like him, come to think of it. Dear old Paul, I watched him so many times at the county ground at Chelmsford,
Yes.
and many other places too. And what fun! A great man,
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
isn't he?
Seriously nice guy.
Why is he? He played for Hampshire for a bit.
No, he lives in Bournemouth now.
And that qualifies him. Yes. Bournemouth and Dorset, isn't it? Actually.
Yes. Yeah. But you don't worry about that at these sort of games, Henry. No, he's also director of cricket at Dorset National County.
Is he? Is
so
he?
he's still involved, yeah.
The minor county in
Yeah.
the minor county championship.
Yep.
I'm all for minor county championship. I played about 20 years or 15
Norfolk?
years for Norfolk. Yes, I
You
did.
Yes.
Flint it is again, round the wicket, bowls to Adams, who moves across his stumps, trying to flick around the corner, they go for a leg by. And it's picked up a short fine leg who had to wander in about 7 or 8 yards. And it was quite an easy single. The score goes along. Melissa's my scoreboard lady.
60 for 3.
60 for 3. I don't know who was out. Tell me who was out.
Schofield for no score. Richard Levy, who played for Northampton the T20 this year,
Yeah.
9. And James Troughton, remember him?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes.
Warwickshire captain.
Gosh, yes.
No
indeed.
score.
No score, dear. Flint again, round the wicket, bowls, and that time Shah opens him, leaves him, makes himself a little bit of room, moves away to leg and drives it through extra cover for 4 runs. That was a beautifully hit stroke, and by any definition, that was good, wasn't it?
Do you know what? There are 2 things that seem like they've never been away. Ois Shah's batting and your commentary.
Well, I mean, as I say, it's a bit like riding a bicycle. I don't quite know how I do it, but that way. It's great fun. I'm enjoying this very much, Kevin. And it's lovely to be doing it with you. And of course, Melissa. Of
course.
I
know you mean Melissa. You should have said Melissa first and then added me second.
No. I was being tactful. I know. I mean, my dear, I think you aren't quite so beautiful anyway. So,
I could take that.
Jolly nearly, but. Oh dear.
So what do we had? 12 overs, 64 for 3. Oh, it's Shah. 30.
Is this 20 over contest?
Yeah, fortunate. You'll be relieved. No.
Relieved? No, well, Lashings normally play 20 over things, which I think is probably quite... I think if you, in this sort of cricket, you play longer, you get slightly bogged down in the middle of the innings, it becomes rather pointless. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
It's rather like the middle overs in a 50 over contest, if you're not careful.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only 21 and I get exhausted in the middle overs of a 50 over. I don't blame any of these guys reaching their 40s and 50s, and even in John Emburey, his late 60s. I think a 20-20 Matt is perhaps the best option here today.
In his late 60s, I'm in my early 80s, things. Right. It's also awful.
You look so well, Henry.
I'm 82 next. Well, Valeria, my lovely wife, who's on my right, is the reason I do look well. She takes great care of me. And who we got now? Quick left arm over the wicket, and that's pulled away by Adams. It goes down actually off the body, perhaps. I don't know. Is there any signal there?
So it's James Tomlinson returning to the attack. He opened the bowling for Lashings 11 and took the wicket of Chris Schofield.
Yeah, and then get out first over. You remember James Tomlinson, left-arm seamer at Hampshire?
Well, I do. Again, You see, I stopped watching county cricket in '99 when I had a heart bypass.
Oh, right.
And therefore I'm not as good as I should be.
Right.
And both again, and that time Shah gets into a little bit of a muddle. He's playing it away to the leg, he's hit on the pad, and then a bit of self-help. He bends down and picks it up. If he'd done that and Ian Chappell was captaining the other side, he would have been in terrible trouble. It made Ian Chappell so angry if a batsman did that. He said, "You bloody well leave the fielding to the fielders."
I bet.
And really, and he got. I saw him in several Test matches. Get very angry indeed. Tomlinson it is. He's in. He bows to Shah. Shah swings that away. Doesn't get hold of it, but he's going to get 4 runs. It goes off an edge, toppish edge, down to the fine leg boundary. And 4 more. It was. He was attempting to hit that quite a lot squarer. But there we are, and it's now, he's got 50 runs. Well played, O.A. Shah.
A partnership.
50-run partnership.
A partnership,
so
is it?
O.A. Shah contributing 32 of those runs, but he has moved on to 36 not out now.
You corrected me very gently and nicely. Thank you, Melissa.
She does it so well, doesn't she? All those people that corrected you over the years, Henry, you wouldn't have been so graceful.
No, I can remember Bill Frindle correcting me many times from the scorer's chair. That was always rather a hostile intervention. And they both again, this time Shah drives through the offsides. First offside stroke we've seen for a long time for producing runs. It was half field. It stopped there in the covers at extra cover, and they ran a single.
So, what was Bill Frindle's worst intervention that really irked you, Henry?
I'll tell you that it happened at Melbourne. I'll tell you after this ball. Tomlinson it is coming. Oh no, he's not. He got halfway there, then decided against. I think actually out of.
I think he wants to hear the story as well. That's why he stopped.
Got to speak a bit louder. Project it onto the pitch.
Now he comes, starting with rather small strides, lengthening them in, bows, and that's short, and that's played away off the back foot and is misfielded at backward point. He goes through him, they collect a single.
No, Melbourne,
when England, during that Test match, when, what did you ask me to start with? Frindle's intervention.
One of the worst interventions that really annoyed you.
Well, it's the end of the overs, I'll tell you now. Right. England in the end won by, I think, 2 or 3 runs when Willis set the field hopelessly. Border and Thompson were together for the last wicket. They needed 70, between 70 and 80, and they got, I think, 74 of them or something. And we eventually, both of them came on, and after a bit, he bowled at Thompson edged it. Tavare dropped it, an easy one at first slip, and Miller picked up the rebound. And I was saying this, and Tavare and Frindle came in over the top of me saying, that is Botham's 100th wicket to go with his 1,000 runs against Australia. And it was at a moment when we'd been on tenterhooks for about 2 hours, and it just was not right. Anyway, I didn't think. I'm being very unkind, aren't I? That one was played away there to deep midweek, or to deep cover.
That's right, yeah.
And the bowling from the other end, and the ball from this end.
New bowler, Sean Irvine. Former Zimbabwe.
Who was the other end? Here he is, round the wicket, bowls, and Shah comes forward, leans massively forward, picked up an extra cover, and there's no run.
What a recovery, though, from the Lashings. What was it, 19 for 3?
19 for 3 at one stage, yeah.
And it's Irvine again, bowling wide of the crease, and that's Shah takes a pace, drives powerfully down. Oh, it's well stopped there by number 20 at long on. They come back with another. Oh, my goodness me. I thought for a moment there was going to be a run out there, but the batsman had it under control. It was Adams racing to this end. Good shot, well fielded.
Yeah, Paul Pritchard, your mate Paul Pritchard fielding there?
Yes, it is, isn't it? Oh, Pritchard. He did very well at his age. And Shah, and now it's Shah down the wicket again. He hits that straight for 4 runs. Well, that was a splendid stroke. Wham! It's lovely to see people. And there's a lot, isn't it, Kevin? There's a lot of space behind the bowler. and people, I mean, I'm all for people hitting the ball in the air, taking,
Yeah. As long as it's straight, safe shot.
Yes, it is. Absolutely straight.
That one going for 6 runs in the end, just bouncing just over the rope.
And it's Irvine again in, and Shah waits for it, just noodles this out square on the offside, and they go for a single. It's the backward point, well, a short third man really, who goes to his right, fields it square, and unwinds a left arm throw, or an angular throw, back to the keeper, who is
Jimmy Adams.
Jimmy Adams, of course. We asked that before, didn't I? Irvine again bowls a little bit shorter, and Adams makes room, hammers it into the covers, finds the only man saving one in front of the wicket on the offside, extra cover. It's the end of the over. And the Rose Bowl, the Ageas Bowl, I beg his pardon, looking absolutely lovely. And
you'd have been escorted off if you carried on with that.
Well,
An armed security patrol will walk up to the gantry.
Will Rod Ramsgate said bend over, do you think? Give him his
All words to that effect, Henry. Yes.
Yeah. One's always treading on thin ice, isn't one?
The thing is, with your distinctive commentary voice, Henry, you couldn't even blame that on us.
Well, I tell you what, I'd have a jolly good try.
I'll tell them it was me. I'm sure I could put on the voice. I'll take one for the team.
You'll take responsibility. Oh, my dear Melissa, that's wonderful. And they couldn't have been asked to you, so that's splendid. They can only just bask in your beauty. Now it's Tomlinson, isn't it? In, and that's played away by Shah, just working it away to mid-wicket for a single square leg, really. For a single. Who's picking that up there?
At mid-wicket, it's Sean Irvine.
Sean Irvine, well, so it is. Now I can see, yes. Yeah. Goodness me. It's lovely, the sun really is. We haven't seen the sun very much this year, have we? I mean, it's been awful, the weather.
Not been great.
We even had the central heating on for 3 days in August, can you believe it?
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, really, in North Norfolk, it's a great deal. It's a bit further north than this, and it really was bitter. And 3 blankets on the bed. And here comes Thomason now going around the wicket, rather. That's driven down by Adams to mid-on. Isn't it lucky that Shah's wearing a yellow hat and Adams a dark blue one? So it makes it so easy to tell the difference.
It's like they knew they needed to help us out.
Well, absolutely, absolutely.
Can't beat the numbers. Why don't the Lashings have numbers on their back then? Why
what?
Why don't the Lashings have numbers on their back to help?
Well, no one ever knows who they. Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I work for Lashings, but I don't make these decisions. He's lofted that one, Shah, and it's gone away. Is that gone away all the way? We'll see. No, it's 4 runs. It didn't quite get that out of the middle of the bat, did he?
No, not at all.
And but there was a lot of beef in it, and it went away sort of in the air between mid-off and extra for 4. But wasn't as convincing as the one he hit down the ground in the last over.
I'm just looking at the number of overs left, Henry. It's 5.5, and Melissa here. There's one player that Melissa wants to see walk to the wicket. Can you guess?
One, I don't know the Lashing side.
Oh, right.
That's the trouble.
I'm deeply embarrassed, so we can
Tell
avoid.
Henry. He might know. He might have watched it over the summer.
Yeah, who?
There is a Love Island star who has previously
I thought
played.
I was the only Love Island star with Lashings.
You'd be great on it.
Well, they ask me various things. I always say I'll only settle for Love Island.
I think there should be
But they said
variation.
my technique was too out of date and rusty.
So the player Hugo Hammond, he's played previously for England disability side and Hampshire disability side.
Oh, that's a fine stroke, but no, he didn't time it at all. It looked a good stroke. He got a single, and that's it. I think that's Shah's 50, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well done. A good round of applause. We've got more than just a scattering of people here. It's all
right, isn't it?
It's a nice crowd, and for this sort of match, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. With the Vipers later on.
I mean, there's 1,000 or 2 people here.
Yeah. It's a decent crowd. Yeah.
And that was a good attempted drive for the goal. He didn't really time it, and he went to extra cover, and he got a single. So Shah is 50, and it's Adams now lifting his bat in the accepted way, and he hits that one hard down between deep cover and third man for 4 runs. That was a splendid stroke. He hit it well, placed it well, and mind you, it was short and outside the off stump, and it got what it deserved.
Well, these two are batting superbly, and they needed to, Henry, didn't they? 19 for 3, the Lashings at one stage. 90 for 3 now. Let's make it a decent game of it.
How many overs have we got left?
We've got 5 left. 5 left.
5 left. Yes. If we get 40, another 40 on that.
Yeah. 40 or 50, well, the way these two are batting.
Yeah, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
In Hampshire, proving on Wednesday night that even 24 is defendable.
Yeah. What a game, the T20 quarter-final. Hampshire at Nottinghamshire. Wednesday night, Henry, myself and Melissa up there.
Were you when Hampshire won?
Hampshire won.
Yes, I gather.
They were out of it.
And what a lovely ground Trent Bridge is, isn't it? Don't you think?
Super.
It's my favourite creek ground in the world, Trent Bridge. And that was a rather ungainly reverse sweep there by Shah. I hit him on the pad. There was a big appeal, but I think it was what you might call outside the original leg stump, which was then turned into the off stump by the reverse sweep. Melissa looks as though she's about to say something.
No, I was just going to remark on Trent Bridge. It was my first time visiting on Wednesday, but agreeing, absolutely lovely ground.
You did, Trent Bridge. It's pretty. It's lovely, isn't it?
The atmosphere, I mean,
they built
incredible.
stands very much in keeping with the pavilion. It's all sort of the Radcliffe and the commentary. We were in the BBC commentary. It's the best commentary box in England.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It is good. I did many tests there. It was. And Shah there opening himself out, driving this down to wide long on, and they come back for the second run. I had several things there, but of course the great one was when I started off that day when Australia batted first, and they were 15 for 3 when my 20 minutes finished, and they were well up 60 before lunch, Broad taking 8 for 15.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
Oh, and Shah has swung that away. That's gone for about 7.5, and that's a big 6. Down here to our right.
100 up for the Lashings as well. I mean, Shah, he played some T20 cricket here about 5 or 6 years ago, Henry, and played really well, averaged 50 one year. And, he's just playing the same way now. He's 44 years of age, for goodness sake.
Well,
42, sorry, he's only 42.
Wilfred Rhodes bowled Australia out when he was 48. Jack Hobbs played the innings, I think, when he was played for England 48. No, Wilfred Rhodes 46, I think.
Okay.
It does happen.
Oh.
But that beautifully struck again, and actually long on, only had about 6 yards to go to his left, and he couldn't make it. He timed it beautifully.
I think a few of the
Poor old
All-Stars...
Pritchard was peppering him a bit, aren't they, down there?
They are.
A few of the All-Stars fielders, including Pritchard, not too keen to dive today. It's not that kind of match.
It's not.
Not a diver, no. Oh, and there's Shah making room for himself, driving that over extra cover and all through extra cover, and that's gone away for 4 runs.
Oh. This is a treat.
And he's batting beautifully, isn't he?
Isn't he just? He's really.
And I tell you what, if any youngster or anyone here around the ground wants to learn how to play cricket, you could do very much. You could hardly do better than watch this closely.
Fantastic. 66 or 44 deliveries.
I know.
Fantastic stuff. He's really into it now, isn't he? He's really got the bit between his teeth.
Where's he going to go now?
Anywhere.
Straight back over the bowler's head.
Irvin in again. Bowls. He goes back and that one look from the way he played, it may have kept the fraction low, but he gets a run out to deep backward point. And it just looked as though it kept the fraction low. I thought he buckled slightly at the knees for playing that.
Now, I might just show him that Tomlinson, if we are playing proper T20 rules, has bowled out in case that's 4 overs, 1 for 27. Is that right? Do you think they're going to play
I think
like
so.
that?
I think they've kept in line with all the power play restrictions we were discussing earlier. So should be Tomlinson all done, but the likes of John Turner is, I think, gearing up to bowl now.
Yeah.
Shows you what a hopeless commentator was. I never knew what power play really was. People kept telling me, well, in power play, and I never knew some. But sometimes there were 6 fielders on the boundary, and sometimes only 4. It really didn't make much difference. Oh dear.
I think that's John Turner, isn't it? Yeah.
But I was being ambivalent about. You were asking me about the 100. What do you feel about it?
I was a bit indifferent to it initially. But I was at the Eliminators on the Friday night at the Oval, and I went to the final at Lord's, and I have to say, both occasions I thought were awesome. Absolutely
great.
awesome.
Well done.
Melissa, you came to a game here, didn't you, Southern Brave?
Yes, I did. I went, I think, to 3 different games in the end across the tournament.
Great shot over the top.
Over the top, yes, he hit that, didn't he, Shah? Right back over mid-off, that's gone for 4. Beautifully played. It's detrimental, I think, to Test cricket. The fact is that we have series against India, and if someone like Crawley wanted to go back, or Sibley to have play a couple of matches for county cricket to innings cricket, they can't. There's no. I think it's got to be rethought a little. I think we're playing one too many of the shorter competitions, which is not to say it's a bad thing. Shah again hitting it back absolutely straight for 4 runs. It's getting monotonously beautiful. It's a bit like Melissa.
I think John Turner here is actually starting to just crank up the speed of his bowls now. Shah just continuing to hit him back over his head, and the current Hampshire player, John Turner, may be getting a bit frustrated now.
He's been playing in the 50-over competition, this guy bowling now, Henry.
Really?
Yeah. And the way Shah's treating him with total disdain here.
Yes, he looks as though he's next game he's playing on the beach, doesn't it? I mean, that's all too rude. But Tomlinson, is it still Tom?
No, it's John Turner.
John Turner.
South African that played, has just been playing in the first team this year for the first time in the 50-over game. He's a product of the Dale Benkenstein Academy.
Of the who?
Dale Benkenstein.
Oh, yeah, well, I do. The short one, and Shah has pulled it, and it's going over for 6 runs. Went just over the fielder there, deep square leg, who put his hands up as though he was signalling a 6. But there was nothing he could do about it. And I think in any event, had he caught it, he'd have fallen back over the boundary, and it would have been 6 in any event.
And the 100-run partnership brought up, and that last delivery, Shah was almost stood about, a foot outside off stump, looking to play the ball over that leg side, in which he dispatched, completely batting away from the stumps.
Oh.
We had another big swing there, but didn't catch up with it this time, and he goes through to the keeper, who's having rather a lonely day. Keepers in one-day cricket do have rather a lonely time standing back, don't they?
Nobody to talk to.
They begin not to know what slips are. Or they're just something that ladies wear, you know. Slippers.
Shah's shot, wasn't it, in one-day cricket, Henry, was always that sort of swat on the leg side, wasn't it? A pick up from the length ball, and he's playing it beautifully here.
I tell you who I was talking to the other day with an interest in Hampshire cricket was Barry Richards.
Oh, right.
The great Barry, who I don't think I ever saw a batsman who made it look easier. The trouble was I did actually watch all the 4 Test matches he played.
Did you?
Yeah, and that incredible stand hour after lunch at Kingsmead, Durban, against Australia in 69-70, when he and Pollock put on 109 runs after lunch in an hour. It was amazing. And Pollock got 200. Barry was out for his only Test century, 140.
Wow.
But I mean, he did. Do you remember him?
I've spoken to Barry several times here. He played before me here.
You did?
Yeah, but
I mean, you were in short trousers.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I tell you who. You talk about Graham Pollock, obviously. Who people talk about is probably one of the best. But
I think if you saw the 125 he made at Nottingham in 1965,
really,
he's the only batsman who ever murdered Tom Cartwright.
Really, really,
amazing innings.
I had one winter in South Africa, in Durban, and Mike Proctor invited me to bowl against the Natal side in their practices, and I remember bowling against Graham Pollock in the nets. And I mean, not that you remember too many net sessions, as you know, when you're practicing, but I remember bowling at him and thinking, wow, this guy is absolutely serious. His bat just felt, 3 feet wide when he was batting. It was amazing. Only him and Lara, I think the only two guys I ever bowled against. I always felt that their bat was 3 feet wide. Incredible.
Yes, I was never lucky. I never saw Lara play a really great innings. I was lucky. I've been very lucky with Tendulkar. Mind you, I'm not sure that if the pressure's on, that really the better player in that Indian side was Rahul Dravid.
Right.
I respected him enormously, and also I did a lot of commentary with him, and he was a very, very good chap. But Sachin, lovely. I know Sachin, used to know Sachin very well, and he was a marvellous, incredible cricketer. But I just felt somehow that when the pressure was on, I don't know.
Who's on now, Melissa?
So, Alfonso Thomas returning, and Shah has taken the opposite direction now to stand about a foot outside the leg stump this time. So looking to hit through the off stump, and the ball just evades the keeper's hands over the bottom edge.
Did he not hit it into the ground?
Yeah. I think it might have been into the ground.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it was what they call a bum ball.
Bump ball.
Yeah. He's taking the mickey now, so Shah. So the previous over, he's standing outside off. Previous ball, he was standing outside leg stump. He's taking the mick.
He's taking it.
That good.
I think in 2020 cricket, you're allowed to take the mick, aren't you? And even more so in the 100.
Definitely.
I mean, it's showbiz rather than cricket. I mean, you played 2 innings kind of cricket for a long time. There is something about that although this is great fun, it can never quite recapture, can it? The test of skill.
No, definitely. But I tell you what, and I mentioned this, Melissa, before you came up, Henry, that I'm actually really enjoying this because a lot of these guys I either played with or against years ago.
Yeah.
And just watching them play is quite good fun for them.
Oh, indeed.
Swatted away on the leg side, inside edge, Chris Adams. Not the fluent, not the same fluent innings as Shah. I mean, Shah, 83 or 52, and he's hammering it around like he's still in these mid-20s. It's just great to watch. I'm loving this.
I'm fortunate because, Adams 23 now, 37 balls, playing the slightly more anchoring innings of the two. But who needs to play the big shots when you've got away Shah smashing sixes at the other end?
Great entertainment.
Oh my goodness, he cracked that. That's gone for 4 runs through extra. He hit that, didn't he? Hit that like Ted Dexter. I mean, poor old Ted who bit the bullet, didn't he, 2 or 3 days ago.
Henry, it just reminded me actually, obviously there's been lots of tributes to him over the last few days, but as you say, you knew him well. The one thing that you would say about him, if I asked you one thing, what would you say about him?
His driving. I mean, he was. I mean, as a chap, he was quite a complex chap. He was full of ideas, full of theories. Not many of them worked. But he stood there. I remember my first year when I was only 18 at Cambridge in '58, batting with him for 2 hours before lunch against Lancashire. Statham, Higgs, Colin Hilton, Tattersall, Malcolm Hilton. And I just stood at one end playing and missing. And when I was at the non-strikers end, all I did was skip out of the way of his straight drives. And Statham was being banged back over his head. Amazing performance.
Wow.
And he was extraordinary. Marvellously arrogant, too, with it. And there was another terrific drive by... Oh, that's gone 6 runs. And
wow.
He hit that over mid-on. Didn't land. It wasn't a big 6, but it was a low 6, wasn't it?
Oh.
Flat far sixth, and Shah moving on to 93 now off just the 55 deliveries.
He's absolutely unbelievable.
Eyeing up this century as well.
He's keeping Melissa's mathematics up to date, isn't he?
That's my job, stat man.
You're doing very well. Oh, this is fun. I'm enjoying this very much.
Oh, Henry, it's lovely to hear you again.
Well, it's sort of. I mean, the thing is, when you get to my age, everyone thinks you probably appeared from Tutankhamun's tomb.
How's the wine going, by the way? I had a bottle.
No, I'm off it. Actually, Blair and I had a wonderful bottle last night. I was commentating yesterday at a dog show at the Bath and West Showground.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah.
Melissa's area. Yeah.
And I was for the insurance company called Pritchard, who insured handicapped dogs.
Yeah.
And it
Other
was
insurance
an
companies available, of course.
an assault, an assault calls for handicapped dogs, and they thought I was handicapped enough to sort of, And it was great fun. It was terrific fun. There were a lot of dogs that weren't handicapped, and they went through coloured sort of tunnels. Oh, goodness knows it was fun.
Oh.
And that's Brett Bowling and Adams, Chris Adams trying to make just a little bit of room to hit through the offside, and that got through him, and he has gone, and that is the fourth wicket. Out for, it's 23, is that right?
Yes, he got
23, yeah.
I'm afraid he had a nasty time, because when you're batting with someone like Shah, you inevitably are thought of as coming second, aren't you?
And he wouldn't have liked that in his heyday, Chris Adams, would
No,
he?
he
He liked to
wouldn't.
be out there and sort of leading from the front, as he did, didn't he, with Sussex? Did a fantastic job with them.
Well, I know he did. And
Wow.
he went, now I can't remember, he went on a tour to South Africa, didn't he?
Yes, he did. That's where he played.
Yes,
that's right.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I must have been on that tour. And did he play a test match? He played 1 or 2, didn't he?
He played, let me have a look. Where am I? Chris Adams, because he's a late addition to this. Yeah, 5 tests and 5 one-day internationals. Yeah, it was on that tour of South Africa at the end.
Still in the end.
At the end of the 90s.
There are an awful lot of people who haven't played five tests and 5 one-day internationals, aren't there?
Gosh, yeah.
And I mean, I remember that was the tour when we started off in Johannesburg, and England were something like 20 for 5. And it was Michael Vaughan, I remember, was very well playing.
Okay.
Nasser, I think, would have been captain probably.
Yeah, okay. Chris Lewis, man, you will have watched
Yes,
many
indeed.
times over the years.
Absolutely. Sometimes a little bit controversial, wasn't he? But
Just a little.
And there he is. He's there. He's a huge little. He can't run very well, poor chap. It's easy singles to the third man or fours. It's his currency, really. And
Is it John Turner, the bowler?
Don Turner bowling, and Lewis is forward. He would look to me to be running out on the offside, but he played it out on the onside, and it was short mid-wicket, shortish mid-wicket, who fielded.
53 years of age now, Chris Lewis. 32 tests he played in total.
It somehow seems wrong that people like Chris Lewis, any of us, should get quite as old as we are, doesn't it? It's all sort of, I mean, the Almighty has taken his eye off the ball. And Turner it is again in, and that's driven that's driven away for 4 runs beautifully. And he goes hobbling down the wicket, Chris Lewis. My goodness, he hit that one like a kicking horse, didn't he? He went to the left there of the man at mid-off. That was a fine stroke.
It was, wasn't it? I mean, some of these guys, some of the shots they're hitting, it's just absolutely superb, isn't it, really? It's great.
I love Chris Lewis wears pads that are whiter than white, aren't they? They're wonderfully clean. Do you think he spent all last night blancoing them? Yellow. Are they yellow?
Yeah,
My wife, Valeria, tells me they're yellow. I'm colourblind. Oh, and they ran a quick way. He dabbed that one out a yard or 2 on the offside. They went for the single. It was Shah who called him for the single. Chris Lewis, I think, was happy to sort of stay there. But he saw Shah roaring down the wicket, so he responded, and the bowler Turner picked the ball up in the batting crease, but by then the run had been completed.
I think out of all the bowlers we were expecting to see today, you wouldn't have guessed that the current Hampshire player, Turner, has actually got the highest economy rate out of everyone today. 8.2 runs per over.
Blimey.
Expensive.
8.2.
Current player.
That's the highest, is it?
Yeah.
Well, if you bowl at Shah in this form, I suppose.
Yeah.
Here he is again, bowling to Shah, who just stands there and drives for 4 runs. I mean, it's magnificent stuff. He just stood there and thumped it away. I mean, it's like watching Kevin Jones. I mean, it's amazing business.
What, me bowling, it's more like?
Well, yeah, well.
You could have been out there, Kev, but you said no.
They asked me to play, and you know what, Henry?
Did they?
I'm glad I haven't. I mean, bowling at Shah, what fun's that? You're supposed to be out there having fun. Bowling at Ois at the moment, is that fun?
I loved it to commentate on it. It would have been the greatest fun, wouldn't it? Melissa and I had a
I would
time of
love
our
that dearly.
Turner again into Shah, and this time Shah plays watchfully, pushing it out on the offside to extra cover, and there's just the single there. They run it quite quickly, but extra cover wasn't of a mood to try and stop them. And so the total goes on by 1. I can't see what.
So 147 for 4, 1 over remaining, and Shah posed on 98 not out. Looking to get to that century.
He counted there as well, didn't he? That last ball, he deliberately got a single.
I think he's operating now in, I think, boundary or dot. I don't think he'll be too willing just to take a single and give it to Lewis.
He'll get 100. He'll get 100 here.
Well, he should, shouldn't he? Although, yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic innings. Absolutely.
But it will be. It'll be an amazing 100. And
you on commentary, Henry? Now is Shah 100. I mean, what? The day has started well.
the day started very well indeed. I mean, it's gone two ways, 19 for 3 and then the 100. And that great partnership, and Adams making one end safe, as Melissa said.
Yeah.
And who we got?
Alfonso Thomas.
In, he bowls down to Shah. Oh, nibbles at that, tries to a short lifting one outside the off stump, nearly overbalances, it goes through to the keeper. And Adams again, and there is no run. That was about the first inelegant stroke that Shah has played. He looked a bit like a sort of horse in a dressage test that was halfway through it and then had second thoughts, didn't he?
Do you make these up, or do you have these lines rehearsed?
No, rehearsed. It was so stupid. And and he tucks that away on the offside for 1. They're going back for 2. No, yes, they are, because there was a slight misfield,
great.
and that is the 100. He's got his 100. Well done, Shah. He raises his bat, and people say, well done. He says, held his hand up to the wicketkeeper. And they're really a marvellous innings. I know this is a sort of not the most competitive of games of cricket, but my goodness me, batting of that quality cannot be ignored. I mean, it was a wonderful innings in any form of cricket, wasn't it?
Couldn't agree more.
And in again, now it's Turner. Is it Turner bowling?
No, it's Alfonso Thomas.
Alfonso Thomas,
Yeah,
lovely,
yeah.
Right. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I was outside the off stump and no stroke. Well, not no stroke. I don't know what he was trying to nibble it.
So come on, Henry, be honest. When you're sort of driving in the car to test matches, do you think I'm going to use that phrase?
I've never, ever. I don't think you can do that because you're reporting on something that's always in the future. How can you prepare anything for it? Sure. I mean, it's just the way my mind works.
Sure.
Alfonso Thomas again down the leg side.
Alfonso wants a no ball for the bouncer. He's still competitive. He's looking around at the umpire saying, I want a no ball.
Yeah.
He's great, isn't he?
Oh, dear. It's
2 balls left, Henry, that's all.
2 balls left. What's the score now?
49.
49 for 4. It's a good score, really.
Yeah,
I mean, and here comes Alfonso Thomas again. Running in, regretfully, really. In bowls. Shah swings that way high. It's 6 runs over mid-wicket. Mid-wicket's... Oh! Very nearly caught, actually. That was it was an amazing performance. I thought it was over the top, but mid-wicket pushed it up in the air, went over the rope, but pushed the ball back in the air, so the ball never went over the rope, and then couldn't quite get it, and they ran 2.
I think they've been
I think there's some very generous umpiring going on.
I think the umpires have been a bit lenient. I think he may have been over the rope, but we'll let you.
Yes.
Good athleticism.
Yeah.
Nevertheless.
John Turner, that was. Oh.
And Lewis has had the last ball of the innings down to third man for 4 runs.
Wow.
And so there we are. It's the final score is 154 for 4. And Shah is 101 not out. Lewis made 7. Lewis played 2 very good strokes, in fact. And didn't Lewis get... He must have got more than 7 because he hit 2 4s.
9.
He's 9. He's
9.
Yeah.
And a formidable total for Lashings in the end, from 19 for 3 to 154. It's quite the target for the Hampshire All Stars.
Unbelievable.
It's good stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now tell me what we've got another game this afternoon, and this are you playing?
No, unfortunately not.
Melissa's going to be in charge of the commentary point. I hope they're not going to let you. It's a ladies' match.
It's the it's what is it?
So
Charlotte
it's
Edwards
the Charlotte Edwards Cup, which is T20, Southern Vipers versus the South East Stars. So the two South East contingencies playing against each other.
And they're going to have a viper like Kevin on the microphone.
Exactly.
Well, it's us again this afternoon.
Two
So
minutes.
we're here for the long haul, Henry.
You're IO, really?
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
Good luck, everything.
Henry, do you need to go? Are you? Because
No,
we're in the break.
I'll stay for a tiny bit.
All right. Well, we'll take a break on the stream,
Okay.
which is most important, really. So 154 for 4. I guess there's about a 10-minute break between the innings. Don't forget, of course, the reason why this game is being played, apart from the fact that we're enjoying Henry, we're enjoying Melissa certainly, but enjoying the cricket out there in the moment. But it is a charity. I don't say it quite like you, so it doesn't sound quite. I can't get away with it as well as you. But don't forget that the reason we're all here is because this is a charity double header, and it's raising funds for the NHS and Southampton Hospitals charity, and is hosted in partnership between Hampshire Cricket, the Hampshire Cricket Foundation, and the Lashings World XI as well. There is a way that you can donate. You've been seeing it on your screens. Text NHS 20 to 70085. You can donate £5 on that, and go to the ageasbowl.com/auction website, where there is an online auction going on right now until this evening, and you can take part in that as well. We'll be back. Henry, if you want to stay, that'd be great.
I'm enjoying this hugely.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you. My microphone.
We're enjoying you hugely.
Gone AWOL, but there we are. Well, it's great fun to be back. I mean, I haven't commentated about cricket. I commentate about Lashings, but I mean, this is rather different, and I mean, it is Lashings again, but up here with you, it's great fun.
Great fun.
And Melissa, I mean, Melissa makes it.
If Melissa wasn't here, you'd be off like a shot.
We have to put up with you. Absolutely.
The three of us will be back in a few minutes' time.
Okay.
Great stuff, Henry.
see you then. And I've got 5 overs. That's all. You did. My dad. What is it? Have you been on YouTube? My dad thing. What a deprived life you led. Awful. I'll see you in about half an hour for you. Okay, not a bit. Bye, I think.
Yeah, see if he's there.
Actually, what you guys, thank you for putting up with me. I know it's a big ask for Melissa to have suddenly have an old act like me.
We're probably having fun.
But you see, one of the things I don't like about commentary today is I think it's very important to go outside the boundary and throw things around and generally talk about what you can see. Today, since I left, they stick almost unrelentingly to the middle. And I think if you've got a game of cricket where a test match, people bowling made never, the broadcaster has got, or commentator has got to remember he is first and foremost cricketer. And therefore you've got to try and do that. And this irritates me when I listen to it. I listened, you had a wonderful test match here, the best, which I listened to every ball New Zealand India. I thought it was really good. Wasn't it? You still thought that? Yeah. It was a wonderful game. They played very good cricket. And I really thought it was, and listening to the TOS, they never give, they generally unable to score, but that's always the problem.
It's not very sane.
You're terribly the same. All the voices are the same. And there's no real character except tough. Oh, tough is it? Tough is terrific. And I think Michael Gordon. Yeah. I like this. I like Michael. No, go on.
We're on, mister.
No, you take God now.
Welcome back to the Ageas Bowl, where we are just about to get underway. The Hampshire All Stars reply to the Lashings World XI's 154 for 4. What a total, you're probably saying. And my word, what an innings we saw from Shah, the former Middlesex, England. And he played a bit of T20 cricket down here for Hampshire. 101 not out of 62 deliveries. He's like he was never away. Your commentary team, well, certainly for the first 5 overs, I'm staying on till the end. Kevin James, Melissa Story, they're staying on till the end. But he's agreed to stay for another 5 overs because he says he's enjoying himself. We hope he is. But some guy who's just sort of walked up here who says his name is Henry Blofeld. But anyway, Henry, good to have you back. Good to have you still with us.
Well, it's terrific. I'm really enjoying it. I'm casting off the years. You know, I feel positively sprightly. The first ball, the innings left arm over, and that's, I say, he had a bit of a nibble outside off stump. It went through the keeper, who didn't take it cleanly.
This is Charles Willoughby, the former Somerset left-arm pace bowler, South African as well.
Very nice man.
Yes?
Great man. And he lives in Taunton.
Ah, yes.
And here he is, very tall, left arm over, nice, good action outside the off stump. And there's a appeal for a catch of the wicket. The batsman there slashed as he gone.
It looks like Jimmy Adams, he wants to walk off. He's looking for a reason. Oh, gosh, he's gone.
He's gone. He's got a nick and was caught behind. So, naught for one. Last man, naught.
Ooh, Jimmy Adams, former Hampshire batsman, Hampshire captain. Second ball, caught by Furness, who's a replacement wicketkeeper. Callum Furness, who's come all the way down from up north. Must admit his name, not...
Tom Furness, that's tell me about him.
No, Callum Furness.
Callum Furness.
Yeah, apparently he's a replacement. The Lashings have made 1 or 2, well, obviously, as you know, have made 1 or 2 changes, and he's won, and he's come all the way down from Newcastle, I believe, to keep wicket.
Well, he did. I mean, he held on to the first one, didn't he?
Yeah, it's been worth the trip, Henry.
Well, yes, a long way back. I think poor old Adams, you know, going back there, it's a long walk when you're out saying over naught, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's like he wanted to go off in a way.
I wasn't certain what happened. He walked about 4 paces down the wicket and stood there, and I got the impression that he hit it. I must honestly say.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Melissa?
Let's be honest, it wasn't one of the greatest of strokes,
No,
actually,
he wasn't.
was it?
He did well to
I think
reach
he
it.
was trying to channel his inner away Shah, but even Shah took a few balls in the middle just to get his eye in before playing some of those glorious shots over the bowler's head. But as you say, a small stay for Adams at the crease.
It is, yeah. So who are we going to have? So we got. Your scoreboard.
So Irvine joining Morris at
Sean
the
Irvine,
crease now.
Yeah.
Irvine coming into bat.
Yes, he is.
You see, Melissa's spot on. I mean,
That's why she's here.
I think you'll be getting your P45 any day. She would take.
Oh dear, I know. So Sean Irvine walks out to the middle. Sean Morris is the batsman at the other end for Hampshire, who's a former Hampshire opening batsman.
So we got two Seans together.
We have, yes. So we just have to say Irvine and Morris and just leave it to everybody else. Now, Sean Irvine, what a career he had here. 42 one-day internationals and 5 tests in Zimbabwe in the early 2000s, which you may or may not remember, Henry.
Yes, I do. I do. I've always kept a sort of rather sorrowful finger on Zimbabwe cricket.
Right.
Because, one just hopes that the present regime will smile a bit more upon the cricket.
Definitely.
And we will be in there outside the off stump. I think he probably nibbled at it. And anyway, it wouldn't have mattered had he got a nick because the wicketkeeper dropped it. And he didn't no buys or anything, but it just fell down out of his gloves. It's Charles Willoughby and this easy run up, left arm over the wicket, bowls, and that driven. And an edge there, it goes down. That's Irvine getting off the mark, rather luckily in a way. Second step went for it, but couldn't quite reach it. Is that John Emburey? It is, I think, isn't it?
Oh, is that Embers at first slip, is it? Oh, I wondered who that was.
Who else could it be?
Yeah.
I think it's Embers, isn't it?
I think you're right, yeah.
It looks to me like he's a terrific friend of mine, and it looks rather like he's distinguished. What a bowler.
Oh, wasn't he?
Yes, there we are. You played against him a bit.
I played with him a few times in my early days at Middlesex.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, early 80s, but I didn't play often. But
and Willoughby again. This time, it's Morris who just pushes that one back to the bowler, and there is no run.
Yeah, great. He's a very funny guy as well, isn't he?
Yes.
Him and Phil Edmonds. What a pair.
Well,
what a pair.
Phil Edmonds, who was not everyone's cup of tea, he was funny some of the time, but very much his own man, and is now a massive tycoon, isn't he? I mean, he's made millions.
Yeah, was he into sort of mining or something, was it?
Yes, I think mining with a slight question mark over it, but I don't know about that. I must be careful what I say. And Willoughby again, and that's pushed by, down the ground. It's going almost all the way for 4. It's not, it was just kicked back, as it were, and they've run, how many did they run? Both these chaps wearing white hats, which makes it difficult.
How many did they run, Melissa?
2, I believe, but
right.
I must say I was watching that questionable fielding instead, so they have made it difficult for us. One of the pads is a slightly darker yellow, but I think from up here that's not going to be too much help.
No, you're right. Well, one's left-handed,
I've
one's
only got
right-handed.
another 3 overs to go, then I leave it to you. That's a really card. I do see what you mean. You mean the chap this end. This is Irvine this end, isn't it?
It is. No, it's Morris this end, Sean Morris.
He's got slightly yellow pads.
Yeah. Oh, they're probably the pads that when he would have played in the 90s, I think that's the colour that we got dished out. And I think he's got them from the loft, because I'm sure I've got some yellow pads the same colour. Whereas the more modern pads are the one that Sean Irvine has got, which are the more luminous yellow.
Yes, Shah was wearing, wasn't he?
Yes,
they
I think you're right. Yeah.
I mean, brought that advertisement, wash is whiter than white.
Yes.
Do you remember the thing you saw in the tube trains? And
Yes.
all the rest? Now we got Devon, Malcolm, bowling.
No, you would have commentated.
7-9 for 57, wasn't it, against South Africa at the Oval?
Yes.
And here he is, the old boy. He's up to the wicket now. He's there, bowls, and he's pushed it through. He gets quite a lot of power with his arm at the end, and That is Irvine just coming forward and opening the face, running it down to square third man, or square-ish third man, for a single. So that goes 5 for 1. And of course, the easy way of telling these batsmen is Irvine's a left-hander and Morris is a right-hander. But we didn't really think of that, did we?
That's what Kev just very politely said in my ear, which I hadn't noticed at all before then.
Right, well, I know. I hadn't either.
We'll hide our embarrassment.
It suddenly occurred to me, they aren't both left-handers. I've got to work out which one's which. Now, Morris facing, and that short and from Malcolm, and he sort of flat bats it away to cover, and there is no run.
I agree. A lot of that action coming from the shoulder and in his follow through, almost stopping dead on the spot as soon as he releases the ball.
Dear man, he's the dearest of men.
Nice guy, isn't he?
He's wonderful, Devon. I love him.
When he hits you on the head, he's nice about it.
In bowls now outside the off stump, no stroke there from Morris. And taken by our wiki was called Mr.
Callum Furniss.
Callum Furniss.
Yes.
Callum Furniss.
Yeah.
How can one forget that? Callum Furniss.
I'll ask you again in a couple of overs.
Shut up. Devon Malcolm is in now, bowls, and outside the off stump, that's a wider, still wider. Was that a wide? Yes, it was a wide. A Devonian Malcolm wide. Dear, oh dear, the umpire signals it rather sorrowfully, doesn't he? And score goes on racing along to 6 for 1.
Yep.
And Devon is in again of the bowls. That's a well pitched up. And Morris is forward, playing that out to forward square leg. And there's no run.
I'll tell you what, Henry, for a 58-year-old, his arm's still nice and high, isn't it?
Amazing.
Eh?
Yeah, I know.
We like that.
I know. He's I think it's wonderful just seeing all these old players.
Beautiful.
Don't you?
I love it. I'm loving it.
Here he is again in bowls, and that's a good run too, but it's steered away by Morris down to third man. He controlled that well. And there's just the single in it. So 7 for 1 is now the score. And 150, what's the target? 155?
155, yes.
155.
Yeah. So 148 to win, that's right. Yeah, that's a tall order.
Your mathematics are pretty good, Kevin.
I can see it on the board.
You can subtract 7 from...
Oh,
well, that was very well fielded there, wasn't it?
Is that Levy?
That might well be. Yes, I think you're right.
I think that's the most athletic fielding we've seen from him throughout his entire career. So,
who was that?
Richard Levy,
Richard Levy.
the South African.
Yes,
yeah.
I've not seen him before.
Have you not?
No, I haven't.
Played a little bit for Northampton, the T20 this year. Has been doing quite a bit over the years. Yeah.
Well, he sort of levied himself very well then, didn't he? And that was splendid. So the score is 7 for 1. It's rather a ponderous start. And how many overs have been bowled? 3, is it?
2.
Only 2. Oh, it's
Yeah, I
only
know.
2. Here's Charles Willoughby again now, and that's pushed away to cover, and there's no run there. It went too firmly for them to run there.
I'm looking forward to seeing Ember's bowl, because out there now at first slip, he looks like a sort of a match referee in a different sport where he's just sort of overseeing.
You can see it. You can see his grey hair behind his hat. And he comes in and he sort of wobbles them up. It's rather splendid. You recognise him easily. Willoughby again, and this is Morris just pushing it back down the wicket. Willoughby bends down and picks up. Tall man, Willoughby, and tall, quite athletic. And as I say, delightful. And he comes into a bit of an angle. It's not a long run. It's only sort of a medium-paced run. He's only medium-paced now. Comes in now up to the wicket. Quite fluent, bowls. That's short, and that's whipped away in the air. Went off the top edge, I should think, and it's fielded there at fine leg. Running it's Devon, isn't it? Running behind the... I can't see who it is who fielded it.
Chris Adams.
Chris Adams it is, isn't it?
His daughter will be playing in the Vipers game this afternoon, Georgia Adams.
Really?
Captains the Vipers.
Oh,
yeah. She's a good player, very good player.
Goodness, it's all... Oh, look, a seagull, my first... No, it's a white pigeon, sorry, it's a white pigeon. Easily confused the seagull, and Willoughby bowls again, and that's Irvine playing that one down a little bit with his bottom hand to mid-on, and there is no run.
She won the 100 last week with
What
the Oval
is that another ground there?
Yes?
yeah.
It is second 11 ground. No, what? It's
The-
practice ground.
Yeah,
Nursery.
the nursery ground.
Nursery ground. And Willoughby again outside the off stump, no stroke really there, and through it goes to Callum
Furness.
Well, I got halfway.
You were there, yeah.
See, I've had some questioning on whether he is keeping, because Hugo Hammond is the keeper
he's
for
a keeper, isn't
the
he?
England disability side, so I'm not sure whether it is actually him keeping.
Bowls again, and that's just pushed back by Irvin, and on the offside, and there's no run, pushed back fairly straight, and it was the bowler who fielded.
Oh, you could be right. It could be Love Island man behind the stumps.
Love Island.
Hugo Hammond.
He has clubfoot, which is why he registers for the England disability side.
Yeah.
So I think it's slightly recognisable.
Yeah, I think you're right, Melissa.
We got enough information from James. Has Willoughby again, bowls, and that's played away by Irvin down to mid-on slowly this time, and they run a single. So it's now 10 for 1.
Well,
and Callum Love Island didn't come into it then.
he's somewhere else, I think. So it looks like Hugo Hammond, who's there. Well, I'll tell you where the information came from.
So Hugo
Your
Hammond,
manager, David Smith. Smudger.
Did he? Really?
I phoned him. I phoned Scotty Charlton, and he put me in touch with David Smith, and I said, have you got some changes? And he said, yeah. He said, we got a keeper come down from up north, Callum Furness. But obviously he's here as a keeper, but it's Hugo keeping.
He's having them.
Yeah. But I won't, please don't tell David Smith that, because I know he's a big chap.
He is a big chap. Devon Malcolm in again, bowls that down the leg side. Irvin tries to turn it around the corner. It's very well taken by our wicketkeeper, whom we're not quite sure of, be it Hammond or Callum.
Yeah, we're going to go with Hammond now.
We're going with Hammond.
Yeah,
right
I think I know my Love Island stars when I see them.
Hammond looked at Love Island. Oh my goodness, Melissa's very up in Love Island. How frightening! Beautiful stroke by Irvin, who comes forward, drives that one in his left-handed way between extra cover and mid-off 4 runs. That was sort of out of the O.S. Shah coaching book, and the score goes there now. Is it 14?
10 for 1, so a slow start.
It was 10 for 1 before. Have they put that up, do you think?
It's a fast scoreboard here, isn't it?
Yeah,
we get caught out quite often. By the time the bowl's even been bowled already,
it
it's
is a
updated.
fast scoreboard. I thought it was 10 for 1 before, but I'm probably looking at the wrong figures. I usually do. Here's Devon again in bowls, and that is sort of pushed rather than driven by Irvin down to mid-off, and there is no run.
The scoreboard's now been updated to 15 for 1. So
you're right, Henry.
Thank you.
I think they're having a slow day in the office.
Melissa was ticking me off then. Now, here comes Devon Malcolm again, up to the wicket. It's lovely action. He bowls, and that's again. He tries to dance around the corner. There's an appeal, and he's out, caught behind. That was a very good catch by Love Island. My goodness me! And Irvin has gone. It was a good catch, wasn't it? I mean, he went across a long way, and so now. The Hampshire, what do you call it? The Hampshire
All Stars.
Hampshire All Stars are, I think, is it 17 or 16 for 2?
I think.
Anyway, they've taken off score. Irvin made 7. It's 15 for 2. I beg its pardon.
The All Stars in quite a predicament
They
now.
are.
Well, yes, except Lashings were 19 for 3.
But do they have an O.A. Shah? The one
sure
key element of this innings, and looking at this All-Stars batting lineup, who would you say is their key batsmen to come in?
I don't think you have confidence, in the local side.
I'm a Wiltshire girl at heart. There's always a part of me.
A Wiltshire girl.
Wiltshire, yeah.
Oh my God.
Sport the minor counties.
Oh my God. Yes, well, I do. I mean, I played minor county cricket for many years, so I agree with that entirely.
So do we put him down officially as Court Love Island? Bowled Devon Malcolm. Is that officially in the scoreboard?
I think so, don't you? Yes.
I think it sounds better. More fitting.
Callum Love Island to make it. There we are. And who's the new batsman, chaps?
Paul Pritchard.
Pritchard. How lovely. Paul, there he is. Yes, he's scratching away just like he used to, isn't he? How splendid. We now got 2 slips. Embers has got a friend. And Love Island's got 2 friends.
Played for Essex between 82 and 2001, Paul Pritchard.
And he was captain at the end,
yes,
wasn't he?
Was, yeah.
And first ball to the new batsman, who is?
Yeah, Pritchard.
Pritchard, yes, sorry, plays forward, absolutely, sorry.
He captained for 4 years.
He did.
And up to 98.
What an amusing side. It's a lovely side, weren't they, in those days?
Yeah.
Here comes Malcolm again in to Pritchard. Pritchard just plays that away quietly. Really the back foot on the onside. And fielded mid-wicket, running in front of mid-off, and there's no mid-on, and there's no run.
He won the NatWest Trophy in 97 and the B&H in 98 as skipper. Led them.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Devon Malcolm again, and outside the off-stump, no stroke. Through it goes to Love Island, who picks it up low down. And it is the end of the over, 19 for 2. That's the 4th over gone.
Yeah.
So I've got one more over.
You have, Henry.
Very exciting.
Sad.
Do you think I'm up to it? I don't know.
I'm sure you are.
Do you think so?
Oh, definitely.
Well,
I think you'll rise to the occasion.
Can I say to you guys what fun it's been? Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been great fun.
It's good fun. That's for sure. Mind you don't know what's going to happen in this over yet.
Exactly, it could be the most exciting one of the game, and
Good.
it's only being complemented by, I think your eyesight's getting increasingly better across the innings. Spotting all these numbers without any help from me.
Charles Willoughby bowling down. That's driven away by
Morris.
By Morris, indeed, down to mid-off. And I was just hesitating, wanting to keep you on your toes to see if you knew who it was.
Henry, don't worry, I'm on my toes.
You are, well, I know.
I am, yeah. You're keeping me on my toes.
Yeah, right. And better than being on your behind. Anyway, here comes Willoughby in, bowls. Morris plays forward, and it's fielded there by mid-off, running behind the bowler. And there is no run.
I think, I have to say at the moment, I think the Lashings are going to win this.
I agree. I think we've seen some slow starts this season already from Hampshire, but the All Stars take the crown for this start. 15 for 2 off.
Here comes Willoughby again. Oh, that's a rather strange sort of. It was not like a bird roosting. He pulled that one away to square leg, but it was not a very convincing stroke. It was a sort of half pull. I think he thought he was going to hook originally. I don't know. Anyway, but he stood on one leg, as I say.
I think a lot of these players are playing shots that they haven't played for years and surprising themselves.
Well, that could be. And Willoughby, and again, although if he'd... Oh, that's brilliantly taken by Love Island, who does a somersault. But in Love Island, they do somersaults all the time, don't they? Usually there are 2 of them doing them. That's the only difference.
He was a little bit unlucky in the series, wasn't he? Melissa's laughing.
He was. I mean, I had, with my friends, lined up a full manner of puns for when he came into bat, about how he didn't find love, but he could find the middle, and then we didn't even get to see him bat. So I was deeply disappointed.
So they scamper a single there as Morris plays that away to mid-wicket. And so that's one more. The total now goes on. It goes galloping along to 16 for 2. And this is the 5th over. Goodness me.
Yeah. One ball left, Henry,
One
as
ball
well.
left. My last ball.
Yes.
My last ball. Oh, dear.
Gosh.
I did that at Lord's in 2017. It was great fun. It was hammered out to the Archangel Gabriel on the cover boundary, I remember. Here comes Willoughby again in, an attempted drive there, taken by Love Island, and that is really... No, let me tell you first of all, the score 16 for 2. Enter me. Kevin and Melissa, thank you very much for putting up with me.
Thank you.
Greatest
Brilliant.
possible fun.
I hope that last ball was as memorable as your last ball on TMS.
Oh, more so. I don't think I shall write about it in my next autobiography.
Henry, thank you very much.
No, brilliant.
Cheers. Well, what a pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. We should be calling Hugo Love Island for the rest of the game, that's for sure. Do you know your way down the stairs and then down the lift? I'm sure you do.
I think so. You don't need a card going down.
You should be all right. No, going down you should be all right, yes. Yeah. I think one of the lifts on the right is the one you need the card for. I'm giving everything away on air, really. I shouldn't be, otherwise we'll have millions of people up here. But Henry's just leaving, so you don't need to rush up. So if you're thinking of rushing up, you're going to be too late. Devon Malcolm bowling to Sean Morris. He's worked now on the leg side, and there is no run. Thank you both. Cheers, Henry. Great stuff. Great stuff. You take care. I'm going to try and get over. I will between the innings, but we've got the Vipers game as well. But we will try. I will try and get over for sure. Take care. All right.
Malcolm
Right.
continuing then, and that ball driven into the offside.
What a treat. What a treat. Henry Blofeld is leaving the room.
What
Wasn't
an
that fun?
experience.
Wasn't that fun? I think he actually enjoyed it, because I mean, you think of all those commentaries he's done and that sort of thing, and he hasn't done it for years, and he wouldn't have stayed on for those extra 5 overs if he didn't have fun.
It's us two, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just the dynamic duo.
Of course, of course.
That ball just worked into the leg side and fielded, and not many runs available here.
It's hard, isn't it? I mean, Owen Shah has just killed the game, isn't he? I mean, he's just too good.
This is the kind of game where we've had a few this season, I think, so far, when we have struggled to make a game seem quite exciting, but Henry just does it so easily. As soon as he's left the box now, there just feels like a gaping hole to fill the fact that they're going at a very low run rate. We say as the ball is smoked away to the deep point boundary for 4 runs, so finally Pritchard finds the middle.
Richard Isaacs, who's scoring in this game, actually, he'd sent me a message earlier, actually, about Paul Pritchard. He said Paul Pritchard's son plays for the Hampshire Academy. It's Louis, or Lewis, I think it's Louis, actually, who has the delightful initials of LBW Pritchard. Can you believe that? So Louis being his first name, obviously his middle name's a B&W. Can you believe that?
Brilliant.
Do you think Paul's deliberately done that? Do you think as a family they said, well, actually, we'll call him Louis, but we'll make sure that he's got something like Ben William Pritchard, and it's LBW Pritchard?
Is there any other abbreviations in cricket you can try and DRS?
David, Ron, Steve, whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's quite a good challenge.
You could do that, couldn't you?
My
See, if
future
you have
kids better
children in
beware.
future, you'll have to work something out.
I will.
DRS, LBW. Would you keep your maiden name?
I think Story's quite a cool name, to be honest. I think it would take quite a lot of convincing to try and prize me away from that. But it's quite common now. I've noticed a lot of women are changing their surnames into a middle name. So it's not double-barreled, so to say, but it's still kind of there. But
Yeah.
I'll see when that time comes.
I think my oldest daughter's done that, or doing that. She's not sure, actually, at the moment. She got married about, 3 weeks ago. So, and she's thinking of making it double-barreled with her partner. Yeah,
See,
or
I
husband.
just like Story a bit too much, despite the fact not a single club I've played for has spelt it correctly over these last years. But it always comes with Story like the book.
Here we are then. The oldest player on the pitch. John Emburey at 69 years of age with his off-spin. Oh yeah, I like it. I like it. Yeah,
This
it's
man
on the
is
money.
about to put you to shame for not playing.
I know he does it.
Look at
He's the
that.
one guy. If he hadn't been playing, I'd have got away with saying I'm too old. But he's almost a decade older than I am. Nice sweep shot on the leg side there from Pritchard, and that's a lovely shot, running all the way towards the tunnel. Like that. Now that's cricket of old. That decent delivery from John Emburey and a lovely sweep shot. That could have been 25 years ago, that bit of cricket.
I feel like we've got inside a DeLorean and gone back in time a few years now. We've just been transported back to the old Southampton ground.
That's exactly what we have. That's down the leg side, an attempted sweep. That's going to be called a wide. Hugo Hammond of Love Island fame, sort of half taking that. Now, to give you some stats on John Emburey. 64 tests between 78 and 95. 60 odd one-dayers as well. He was England's premier off-spinner for a while. That's another sweep shot, which has gone on the 45. Yeah, very impressive. And his whole first-class career was between 73 and 97. Went on to become Middlesex coach as well.
Had a very incredible career then.
Yeah,
and I mean,
very funny guy. Works out towards deep mid-wicket for a single. Pritchard, sorry, that is Pritchard, isn't it? Yeah, he moves on to, is it 10? 28 for 2.
if I was the Hampshire All Stars, I'd be sending out the likes of, is it James Fuller? He's in the squad today, going, you know what you did on Wednesday night? If you can just do that again now, just get our run rate up a bit. Make the most of the fact a few of these players probably can't get down to the ground as quickly as they once could.
That's for sure. 29 for 2. Don't forget, the whole reason that we are here is it's a charity double-header today. The Vipers and South East Stars playing from 2:30 in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. Another nice shot there from Pritchard. It's just like how he used to play. And these games are being played in order to help raise funds for the NHS and Southampton Hospitals charity. It's hosted in partnership between Hampshire Cricket, the Hampshire Cricket Foundation, and the Lashings World XI. Last year, the club raised over £50,000 to support the construction of a new rehabilitation space at the University Hospital, Southampton, and has sought to raise more for the same cause again this year. You can get involved. You can see it on the screen there. You can text NHS 20 to 70085 to donate £5. There is also an online auction which is going through all the way until 7 o'clock this evening. You can go to the Ageas Bowl website, ageasbowl.com/auction. They are all on there, and you can get involved in there and help those charities raise some more money.
A very good cause, of course, and lots of people I knew at Southampton University doing their placements and working there.
Yeah.
Malcolm continuing, and that ball almost lost his shot a bit there and swatted it into the offside, but with the power of a teaspoon.
You were saying your university raised some money, didn't they?
Raised some money, yeah. And we got a massive thank you from the Southampton University Hospitals Trust. They're incredibly grateful for all this money and donations as that ball's worked into the leg side just for another gentle single. And I mean, just the pandemic illustrating, just how much we've got to support charities such as this, and the work, especially in the height of the pandemic, and using technology to allow families to connect to each other whilst on the COVID ward was incredibly important and powerful. So all these donations going towards a very good cause. Malcolm in again, and that's a almost thick edge down to third man, who very unenthusiastically walks up and throws the ball back in, and Love Island there makes a slight error behind the stumps.
So the crowd has stayed pretty steady, really, hasn't it, really, in terms of, I think Henry put the figure at about 1,000. I think that might be slightly optimistic, do you think? I don't know, maybe not far off, actually, thinking about it.
Yeah, it's always at the Ageas here, and another defensive shot there from Pritchard, and it's obviously such a big ground. This almost sort of crowd in the likes of Kent or Bristol or Hove will look a bit more cosy, but they're all quite spread out and distributed here, and a few children to our left playing a game of stump there, which is a club favourite, I know, for many people. So that ball swatted in the air but over the head of extra cover. There's a chase on for the fielder at mid-off, who's had to come round, and it won't go for 4, but they get through for the most comfortable 2 of the day, I think, as Morris walks that second run. More to our right, we have the Lashings tent has been put up to buy all the merchandise required. Of course, more merchandise available in the raffle, which you can enter, as we say, all in donations to Southampton Hospitals Trust today. Lots of good prizes to be won, all for a great cause. That's the kind of ground the Ageas Bowl is here. They've got these big cascading, almost walk round, completing around the entire ground or the entire bowl, which is very good for young children coming here at the ground. Lots of entertainment whilst their parents watch this game unfolding before us as Malcolm continues, and that's a good cut shot from Pritchard. The ball going towards the boundary but cut off by the fielder. That deep cover, who comes around, restricts it to just a single. And of course, this is just the first match of 2 matches today. Following this, we have the Southern Vipers versus the South East Stars coming back after their defeat to the Central Sparks the other day. This is a must-win game, you would say, for the Vipers, who want to get back onto their winning form.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because we've already put a commentary team in place for the T20 finals day, so they've got to get through to the finals.
A bit optimistic with that one.
I hope so, but yeah, we're hearing it's a bit of a changed side for the Vipers, of course, because there's no Charlie Dean, no Maya Boucher, because of their call-ups this week, which is great news for them, but the Vipers having to make some changes. Nice pull shot there from Pritchard, who's giving plenty, or is being given plenty of opportunity to play the sweep shot. There's a sort of a Midland leg stump line being adopted here by John Emburey. It's nice to be able to say the name John Emburey again. I haven't said that for quite a while. It's quite interesting. As I say, I played on the same side as him a few times for Middlesex in the early 80s. But then, of course, when I came here, I played against him several times. I'll tell you what was difficult about him, Melissa. I don't know if you find this when you play, but certain spinners, and he was great at this. Well, you weren't a left-hander, but off spinners bowling round the wicket to a left-hander, the ball's coming in at you. All right, so it's an angle that you feel you've got to play. There's a lovely sweep shot again there. My word, Paul Pritchard's playing the sweep shot beautifully here. And it's always coming in at you, so you feel you always have to play, And then, of course, with it turning away, on some of the wickets I played against him when I was playing against him, so you're thinking, well, I don't really want to be playing all the time because the ball's turning away from the bat. So you are looking to leave it when you can. But what you're also looking to do is that the first opportunity you get when the ball's a little bit shorter is to sort of lean back and cut the ball away, because that's one of your main scoring shots, isn't it, against an off spinner. But what Embers was great at, and he used to tee loads of players up against, and I used to see it when I played with him, and of course I knew even when I was batting against him, was that his arm ball was really effective. It was a great arm ball he had, so you had to be very careful, but you also knew that you had to score runs. So you were in this dilemma between, when that ball was out there and you thought, right, it's slightly short, I'll have a go. And I remember a couple of times that I saw it slightly short, and I was like giving myself a bit of room and cutting it away on the offside, but the ball of course would follow me as the arm ball, and he got me out a couple of times like that, and he was brilliant at teeing players up like that. Brilliant.
Taking a bit of stick here,
He is a
unfortunately,
bit
compared to the glorious bowling tactics you've just spoken about. But I mean, Pritchard playing some good innings here so far. Been the standout for the All Stars, and definitely seem to be targeting that leg side boundary, which all boundaries were quite equal size here so far, but a lot of the batsmen seem to be taking a bit of a fancy to that side today.
Slightly shorter side. Well, I don't know, is it a slightly shorter side? There's not much boundary. There's not much in it, is there?
Maybe they want the satisfaction of hitting it into the crowd. Our boundary to our left is right up next to the crowd, whilst we've got a bit more of a gap on the leg side. And that ball just worked up to long on.
Well, Pritchard looks in good nick, doesn't he? No doubt about that. That's the 50 up for the All Stars. That's come up in the 9th over. Remember, they are chasing 155 for victory. I mean, you feel already that Pritchard has got to play the Shah type of innings, but whether or not he can play like Shah, I don't know. 101 not out of 62 deliveries, Shah. It was quite breathtaking at times, wasn't it?
It wasn't. I mean, just was effortless, really. Some of these shots playing over the bowler's head, but you wouldn't, you would pay so much money to these, and the crowd here just being entertained for this, just for
Fantastic.
a small fee and going to charity as well. It's incredible, and it's what all these matches are about, because seeing these greats have an innings such as that, I'm sure when he woke up this morning, he was probably not expecting to get 100.
No. Now, we've got Martin Bicknell, the Lashings captain, into the attack, the former Surrey and England seam bowler, 52 years of age now. Only played 4 tests, probably deserved to play a few more between 93 and 2003. Played 7 one-day internationals as well in between that time. Took over 1,000 first-class wickets.
Wow. That's a fuller ball to begin with, which just defended back by Pritchard, and you almost feel every dot ball here, that required run rate for the All Stars is just building and building, and there's going to have to be some quite remarkable shot play to get to this total, as that slower ball slightly is just driven upish into the offside. The deep cover comes into field, and it's just a single.
Alex Stewart, who was keeping behind the wicket when Martin Bicknell was bowling for Surrey, and he used to call him high class. So, like, if he beat the bat or whatever, go, well bowled, high class, well bowled, high class. And he was right. This guy in his pump was high class bowler.
That ball cut off the back foot, but fielded well by backwards point, diving to their left with one outstretched hand and preventing any runs there. So another dot, and I mean, you can even see now with his bowling action, it still looks just as fluent as it probably was in its day, and he's put 3 balls now in the area and made it difficult for the All Stars. Morris on strike still then for the straighter ball, and that's just worked into the gap on the offside, where again the deep cover comes into field that ball.
Got a text here from Paul Williams, actually, at Solent Sport. He says, afternoon, he says, enjoyed hearing blowers again. Is there any other way of donating apart from the text route, as does not work on my phone out here, because he's out in Portugal? Southampton General means a lot to me, as you know, says Paul. I don't know if there is another way.
I will do some
Have a look.
investigating on
Yeah,
Google.
you're quite good like that. So Melissa is going to have a look for you, Paul. Obviously, there's the online auction, but I guess if you don't want to take part in that, or I guess if some of the prices, I mean, I looked at some of them. You know, if you feel that's a bit more than you want to donate, then yeah, there must be another way. But Melissa's going to have a look. This is Morris on strike, who's hit 9 so far. Now, Sean Morris, I mentioned earlier, played for Hampshire between 92 and 96, a top score of 174. That was against Nottinghamshire. I've got a feeling, because he played at the same time as me, I called him Stowers because he used to go to Stowe School and he went to Durham University as well. I've got a feeling that was at Basingstoke, that 174. I didn't play in the game, that's why I'm sort of trying to rack my brain and work out.
At Basingstoke?
Yeah, Hampshire used to play at Basingstoke every year. He used to play a game or two, yeah.
I do like that ground.
Do you? Basingstoke and Northants?
I've got quite a good fifer at that ground before.
Have you?
Yeah,
Oh.
just to drop that in on.
Well, yeah, no, do, because that's something we've got in common. I've taken a couple of fifers. Yeah, so there you go. Melissa's still looking, trying to work it out. Don't know if there's anything on the Hampshire website that... John Emburey's carrying on. The 69-year-old, comfortably the oldest player on the park here. But doesn't look it the way he's bowling. His arm's quite nice and high, but like Devon Malcolm's earlier.
So there is other ways to donate money directly to Southampton Hospital's charity. You can call the charity on 023 8120 8881, or you can email charity@uhs.nhs.uk. All that information is available on their website online. So if texting is not your method, there is email and calling by landline or mobile.
Well done, Melissa. So hopefully, Paul, that's helped you. We'll repeat that a little bit later on, actually, just to remind everybody. 56 for 2 here at the Ageas Bowl. First of 2 matches here this afternoon. Started this morning. We started at 10:30. It's 1:45 now. This game's scheduled to finish in about half an hour's time. The Vipers scheduled to start at 2:30. Myself and Melissa will be with you this afternoon as well.
There you go. I have been a bit of a self-plug, but I have found my figures from that match at Basingstoke.
Oh, go on.
5 wickets for 6 runs.
5 for 6, and that was for
Hampshire under-17 ladies against Gloucestershire under-17 ladies. And yeah, pretty good game.
You won the game, I take it.
Well, let's hope so.
Can't you remember?
Hampshire won by 63 runs.
Well,
there we go. Quite comprehensive.
How many overs? 5 for 6?
20 over game.
Yeah. Oh, 4 overs you bowled.
Yeah.
Good figures. Top figures. Pritchard gives himself some room and cuts that away on the offside. I think that might be our mate Callum Furness there. It is.
Is that the one with slightly longer hair?
Yeah. Is that him?
It looks like it.
Yeah, I think that's him.
Sporting quite some luscious fairy tale locks there, similar to like Miles Hammond and of course Tom Prest before he had his haircut.
Yeah, that's right, exactly right. Yeah, I think that's it. That is him. Most of the others in the Lashings side I recognise, of course, from their previous first-class careers.
That ball slapped off the back foot there by Morris down to the long off fielder, who picks that up one-handed and gently throws it into the bowler. Bicknell to continue now. And All Stars 58 for 2, so still not quite finding this momentum needed to chase down this total of 155. I say as the ball is worked into the leg side, aerial, and good fielding on the boundary. He didn't look like he was going to get there, just leisurely running to the ball, but a good dive at the end meant he just brought the ball in and prevented that boundary.
Still lovely sunshine here. It's a nice day. It's warm.
Oh, we've been missing quite the morning of Test match cricket as that ball was punched off the back foot into the offside. England, of course, looking to take the remaining wickets of India, and they have won by an innings and 76 runs.
Wow, how quick was that?
What a remarkable morning.
I've been totally enthralled with Henry Blofeld, to be honest, to worry about anything else.
I forgot there was a test match on, as that ball was finally worked from a pull shot into the leg side. The fielder at deep square has to make his way round, and All Stars get through for 2 more runs.
Wow.
So Kohli dismissed for 55, Rahane dismissed by Anderson for 10, and then a flurry of wickets with Pant gone for 1. Jadeja made a tireless 30, but a big collapse from the Indian tail, with Shami making 6, Ishant Sharma 2, Bumrah at 1, and Siraj a duck. That ball powerfully hit into the leg side of the hips, and again good field in the deep, and some teamwork there from the Lashings 11 as the ball is parried back in and thrown back in by his teammate.
Innings on 76. Wow, what a comeback by England.
It's absolutely remarkable. The way things were left last night, you would just think it was a bit more in the balance. There was a chance that if Pujara stayed in with Kohli, there was a whiff in the air of a draw for India, as that's a swipe at the ball, and that ball has gone just over middle stump. I think the Bicknell will be quite disappointed that's missed the stumps, but quite an ugly shot from Pritchard. But he's on 35 off 31 balls. The All-Stars 65 off 2, and a few 2s in that over, maybe showing signs of an acceleration.
Whether or not they can keep going, running 2s between the wicket, these two, and maybe the batsman coming later on, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, fitness is always a big factor in these sort of legends and all-stars games. We'll have to wait and see. So the situation in the game is that the All-Stars, the Hampshire All-Stars, need 90 to win of the remaining 8 overs. They have 8 wickets in hand. Sean Irvine, the last man to go for 7. Jimmy Adams, former Hampshire captain, went for no score in the first over.
We've got a change in field as our luscious locked friend from up north is seemingly exchanged with a new fielder who's come on.
Or maybe he was the substitute fielder, I don't know. He was in the 11. Couple of changes in the Lashing side. No Yasser Arafat or no Usman Afzal, who were in the printed teams before this game. Chris Adams, one of the changes, the former Sussex captain, who will be here later on this afternoon to watch his daughter Georgia Adams captain the Vipers, we hope, to victory. There's another leg stump, outside leg stump delivery, and another sweep shot there from Pritchard. Oh my word, he's testing his sweep shot out a bit, isn't he? It's just as well he plays the sweep, Paul Pritchard.
I'm awful at the sweep shots, so watching
Are
this,
you?
and you know, he's getting down quite well to the ball.
What do you do? What makes your sweep shot awful, do you think?
I think the key is getting your head and hands as close to the ball and as far forward as possible.
Yeah.
And just at the last minute, I do just bring my head back a bit. I think it's a no-fear shot, especially when playing those slog sweeps a bit more in front of square. You've just got to reach with your hands and heads as much as possible. So it's a bit of a gutsy shot to play.
Lovely shot through extra cover here, Paul Pritchard. That's 4. Playing a very valuable innings here for the Hampshire All-Stars. Moves on to 40, 71 for 2. Yeah, it is a difficult shot to play, isn't it, really?
I think it comes naturally to some people, I think, who do have that kind of mentality. But I think I've had my troubles against spin in the years, so no, it's perhaps not my shot to play. I'm much more inclined to hit down the ground straight as he's stumped. That's Pritchard gone, who came down the wicket to Emburey, and Love Island has whipped the bails off. And another wicket falls in. Pritchard falls for 40. Bowled Emburey, stumped Hammond.
Yes, we're saying Love Island because that was coined by Henry Blofeld, who was with us earlier on commentary. It's actually Hugo Hammond, who didn't get a chance to bat, much to Melissa's disappointment.
It was more so I could perhaps take the mick out of his performance. He was a Marmite person in the villa in Love Island, so I'm sure it would be some controversial opinions for any Love Island fans. But the new batter at the crease is James Fuller, who we suggested would be the man to come in now and play what at this point will need to be a remarkable innings.
Yeah, really important partnership, wasn't it, with him and Tom Prest on Wednesday night in the middle order there, which got Hampshire. Well, we didn't even really think it was a respectable score at 120 odd, but it was enough in the end, and an absolutely thrilling night at Trent Bridge. And what we do know about James Fuller is he does give it a ping with the bat. I think he's going to need to here.
And you almost feel, hopefully, Emburey has 2 balls remaining in his allocation of 4 overs, so hopefully Fuller is respectful for those final 2 balls and doesn't hit the 69-year-old over his head for 2 sixes.
One of 2 current players in the Hampshire lineup this afternoon. John Turner, the South African 20-year-old, who played in the Royal London One Day Cup the other.
James Fuller, of course, must be glad to be playing with a few of his old teammates, especially, I mean, Irvine and Adams, the more recent of the 2. Those 2 were just retiring from their Hampshire careers just as I joined the Hampshire setup. And what a stroke down the ground. I think that could be 6. That was all bottom hand there from Morris. Is that Morris?
No, Fuller.
Fuller. Scoreboards got me all confused.
That was definitely Fuller, I'm sure it was. Yeah, 6 off 2. That's what he does. I think, in a way, I don't know about you. I mean, obviously, we travelled back on Wednesday night and got back in the early hours of Thursday. The team, I know, stayed up, but just the whole emotion, the raw emotion of the night, it takes you a little while, doesn't it, to sort of get past that, and especially playing out there in the middle as Fuller did. I can imagine he probably felt he could have done with a day off today.
I mean, I had a day off on Thursday just commentating it, just to get the breathing back to normal and get your head around the fact Hampshire going to T20 finals day. It's not something many people would have thought at the start of Hampshire's T20 campaign.
I'm hearing, I don't think it's officially, but it could be that Hampshire-Somerset is the first game for first semi-final on finals day. I don't think that's officially been confirmed, but
Let's keep our fingers crossed with Hampshire's record playing the second game as Bicknell continues. And that's just clipped into the leg side of the fielder. Deep square leg has run around very quickly to field that ball and gets that into Hammond behind the stumps.
I think that's their club ambassador out there, who is Manoj Oswal. He's got no great claims to cricket in fame, but just loves the game.
It's the score now, of course, on 77-3. Morris on strike, who just defends that ball. Is this Fuller? I'm getting confused now, you see. The scoreboard's jumping all over the place. That must be Fuller was defending that ball, and as a plastic bag daintily blows onto the pitch, and Love Island gets that safely in his pocket. In again, and that ball cut outside of stump, but mistimed by Fuller, who will be questioning how he's not just hit that wide short ball for 4. Maybe he's still hungover from Wednesday and not quite seeing the ball as right as he should have. And that's a loopier delivery, which is driven beautifully down the ground, but there's protection in the deep. Just the single again to the All Stars. This could have been you out there batting now.
I know, no. Well,
doesn't this run chase thrill you?
A couple of singles, I'd have been absolutely knackered.
That ball hooked fine, and that will be 4 runs to Morris.
I mean, obviously Turner and the likes would have been on my side, but I mean, just watching Charles Willoughby bowl there and that sort of thing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, seeing the ball bat. I mean, I batted about. I think my last game was about 2 years ago, out in the New Forest. Might have been 3 years ago. And the thing I struggled with was actually seeing the ball, and that, you know what I mean? It's just, for some reason, it's just... And then, of course, your body wants to move towards the ball, and it takes a little bit longer than it should.
That's a swing and a miss outside off stump, straight through to the keeper, and an over completed for Bicknell. All-Stars 83 for 3.
So it's just too much like hard work. When I saw some of the names as well, I mean, it's just, you know, they are sort of on the whole...
I think
that most of them are between, what, 10 and... few years, you know, younger than me. So I know John Emburey's out there, which makes me look a bit silly, really, but you know, I don't think you would have seen him bat too much. And he does play, you know, he plays the odd game, you know, so keeps going. I mean, as I say, I haven't touched a cricket ball for 2-3 years.
Need to get Liam Livingston down to the bowl, and I'm sure he can hit one right up into the gantry first if you want to touch one.
Not really.
The in danger sat here right behind the bowler's arm.
So we've got 6 overs left of this contest, 72 needed by the Hampshire All Stars. Fuller has 7 not out. Sean Morris, former Hampshire opening batsman, who played 37 first-class games in the mid-90s. He's still out there, but it's Fuller, you think, has got to do the bulk of the scoring here. Adams for no score, Sean Irving for 7 and Paul Pritchard for 40. The 3 wickets that have gone down. Now, who have we got now? Is this Chris Schofield? I think it is, yeah, the leg spinner. Immediately driven up to mid-on. He was out first ball in the Lashings innings.
Of course, it will be interesting to see what kind of spin is generated, especially from the wrist spin for this later game of this evening. And
yeah, haven't seen too much turn, have we, really?
no, I mean, a new wicket, I presume, for both of these 2 fixtures, or it looks quite fresh. And
doesn't it?
The Vipers tend to go with quite an attacking spin option.
Yeah, although there's no Charlie Dean, of course. Oh, he's gone for the swat there. Fuller misses that one. This is appealing to the, well, the dressing room attendant, come umpire, Chris Wheeler, at the far end, who says not out. And we said that, didn't we? We were talking about that at the start. How many LBWs will there actually be in this game? Well, so far, none.
I think it's a similar respect to when you're fielding, when you're umpiring for your own team. And I've mentioned before on air, I will make any excuse imaginable to not put that finger up. The obvious ones, of course, being, yeah, I think he got a bit of bat, or he's pitching outside the line, to the point where, you know, I will say a bug flew past my eyes at the exact moment the ball struck the pad, so I can't really give a fair decision. And always, worst case scenario, fake passing out.
No, really?
Yes, that's the lengths I'm prepared to go for no awkward car rides on the way back from games.
It actually is a very hard decision. There'll be people that listen to this that you know, have done it in their club games or those sort of 20-over leagues midweek and that sort of thing. It's actually a very difficult job, isn't it?
It is. I mean, some people are absolutely fine with it, but I mean, it's especially getting to the later stages of those innings, if batters are approaching a significant landmark and you've got to be the one to put your finger up. Because although you don't want to get in your teammates' bad books, you also don't really want to get in the opposition's bad books, especially if you're batting next.
Definitely. Just a reminder that you can text and donate to today's charity. There's a cheer there. Let's come back to that in a moment. New bowler. Well, it was Martin Bicknell, but he's taken a rest. Bicknell's bowled 3 overs, none for 15. And who have we got now then? It was mentioned over the 10 line.
Oh, is
Shah's going to bowl some.
Oh, as if he hasn't got enough today. He's hit 100 and now he's probably eyeing up the wicket of James Fuller.
He's hogging the game.
In he comes then, and straight down the ground. This will be 6, over extra cover, and straight into the crowd. And it's landed quite close to my university friends sat
Oh,
there
is it?
to our left. And if it had been a bit closer, I would have been scolding them for not going for the catch. But I think I'll let them off, as that's 1 block away from them.
Everybody was remarkably calm down there, actually. Nobody really moved out the way, and yet it seemed to be close to several people. They were watching.
And that's a short ball, and Fuller does the same, but it could be out and caught in the deep. And a disappointing end to Fuller after that glorious 6. He's tried to play the same shot again. But oh, sorry, I thought that was out, and now I'm very confused. Oh, I'm all for this, Kev. You take over. What's happened here?
Well, I don't think we realised there must have been a no ball, so he just went for it anyway. I was surprised. 4 more. Yeah, I think Fuller just went for it no matter what. That's the 100 up for the Hampshire All Stars in the 16th. I thought this was going to be a bit one-sided, I have to say, when Irvin and Adams was out before him, both of them out in the first 4 overs. But this actually is getting fairly close. 55 needed.
And another short rank delivery and over the head of extra cover, and this will be another boundary. So the All-Stars accelerating now.
They are. Sean Morris getting in the act now. 30 he's moved on to, off 37. Fuller quickfire 17 off 11.
Not quite the glory of his batting in this over from Shah, as that's finally cut down, but no runs available.
51 off 26 balls. Still going to need Fuller to do some more.
And that's down to long off, who fields that easily and gets the ball in. And yeah, you would say these two at the crease especially, and even if a wicket falls, I would be sending in John Turner, although he's more of a bowler and down the order batsman. He can still give it a whack as another 6 goes over the head of long on, and this has been an expensive over by away Shah. The ball going just behind the hover cover towards us.
Giving some of his runs back. 23 off that over. Don't forget the reason we're all here. Charity doubleheader today, raising funds for the NHS and the Southampton Hospitals charity, hosted in partnership between Hampshire Cricket, the Hampshire Cricket Foundation and the Lashings World XI. You can donate NHS 20 to 70085 to donate £5. You can see that on your screen now, and there is still an online auction until 7 o'clock this evening on the Ageas Bowl website. Several prizes that you can, or several lots that you can bid for. Mentioned wine earlier. 6 bottles of the Ian Botham's finest wines there on offer. A bottle of House of Commons champagne signed by Boris Johnson. Some of you might think that's great, some of you may not, but that's on offer as well. There's a one-night B&B stay in a superior double bedroom at the Malmaison in Reading. That's also on offer. What else have we got? Squad signed bat. Hampshire squad signed bat there. Southampton football with an authenticity certificate there as well. So plenty and many, many more. I'm scrolling through, there are so many. An evening with Tom Kerridge at the Hand and Flowers for 3 people. That'll be handy. Tom Kerridge. Melissa's saying to me, who's Tom Kerridge? He's a famous chef. Has a few series on the
I'm very
TV.
relieved that wasn't a famous cricketer, because I had no idea.
Tom Kerridge, famous cricket? I don't think so. What else is there? Hotel du Van in Glasgow, a one-night B&B stay there in a superior room. A meal for 4 at Beefy's here in the Hilton Hotel is also on offer. As I say, that is just a selection of the many prizes on offer.
Should we bid on that one? Go sort our lunch out
Beefy's.
for us?
We got some there. It'll be slightly different.
I'm sure those sandwiches will compete to the fine dining of Beefy's.
There's even a barbecue on offer, a Weber and Genesis. And a Karcher pressure washer. That'd be quite handy, wouldn't it? So there you go. Plenty of ways. That's on till 7 o'clock. Pressure washer.
That's quite exciting. They're very satisfying. People are going viral at the moment with, you know, these ASMR videos of power washing and stuff. You could win that and you could be famous on TikTok.
Oh, really? Schofield. Yep, sorry. Nice drive there from Morris, but finds extra cover. 41 needed here, with 3 overs remaining. According to the board, it's ahead of itself, and we've still got the same over going, so somebody's wrong. Either the umpire's lost count, or the scoreboard has got it wrong. The umpire's having a chat between each other, but we know we're going to have another ball.
The board's having a bit of a day today. It's like me, it's struggling a bit. I can blame it on the vaccine. They've got no excuses.
Morris misses that one. I thought he might have been stumped there with his bat in the air, because Hugo Hammond had the stumps off, but the umpire at the square legs having none of it. So we now have 18 balls left, with the Hampshire All Stars needing 41. Fuller on 24, off just 15 deliveries, doing what he does. We always like watching him bat in white ball cricket. And Sean Morris, 32 not out. He's been there since the start.
And whether we will see another over from OA Shah is a bit in doubt, but I mean, a good equation here. One more big over and with Fuller on strike. I mean, we could be taking this down to the last over. We've been treated to too many exciting games. Imagine that. I don't think my heart could take it.
No. It's, I think there'll be a lot to rival that drama of Wednesday night. But we're a close game, very much on the cards here. So we've got Charles Willoughby back into the Lashings attack. 3 overs, 1 for 8.
And we have a tweet in from Phil Webb who's gone, "Now the test is over, I've joined you at Solent Sport, Melissa G Story, and put my first bid in the auction. Hands off my circular saw."
I didn't see one there.
A circular. No, that's exciting. Is that ball driven down the ground to long off for just another single? Circular. What are those used for then?
Circular saws. They're aren't they the ones that you pull down and they sort of saw through, sort of like 4x2s and things like that. You know, you sort of place it on the thing, and then the saw's up here, and then you pull it down. It's a round saw that goes round. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think they are. I'm no DIY man, believe me.
That ball in and taken off middle stump and slashed through the offside, but this should just be another single as long off comes around and cuts that off. And I come from quite a DIY family.
Oh, do you?
So I'm not particularly good at it though. Every time we've embarked upon a project, I'm in charge of making cups of tea and staying out of the way. So I probably should learn to be a bit better.
So you would know what a circular saw was?
I should, but definitely not how to use it, as that's sternly driven down the ground and fielding again by mid-off. And the All-Stars happy here just to take these singles off the bowling of Willoughby, and this is his final over as well. So far bowled 3.3 deliveries or overs for only the 11 runs and 1 wicket. So the pick of the bowlers for Lashings as that ball is hoiked into the leg side, but again long on makes their way round to the ball.
I've just had a message from Joe in the crowd, who's just pointed out that Hugo Hammond isn't now behind the stumps, and I think it's our mate who's come down from up north, Callum Furness, who's gone in behind the stumps. So Hugo
there has been a helmet change, hasn't there?
Yeah.
Good spot from the crowd.
So Fuller not quite getting hold of that, although one bounce out towards deep mid wicket. Yeah, for the last couple of overs or so, you can tweet us like Phil's done. Now the Test match is over. Great day in the Test match. England winning there by an innings. At Solent Sport or at Melissa G Story, if you want to get in touch about anything, just in the last 10 minutes or so of the game.
And of course later in the second game of today, where the Southern Vipers play the South East Stars in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. That ball worked and wristily flicked into the square leg region and fielded in the deep, and they're getting 3 for 2 runs and make it safely. And a 50-run partnership for Morris and Fuller. Morris contributing 21 of those runs, Fuller 27, and that's just come off just 33 deliveries.
Fantastic stuff. I'm sure Sean Morris is panting and puffing a little bit at the moment. 52 years of age. I mentioned earlier that he's a previous CEO of the Rajasthan Royals. That was back in 2009. Prior to that, this is when his Hampshire career ended in '96. He was CEO of the Professional Cricketers Association. And then, those of you that may have followed Sean Morris, his sort of post-cricket career a little bit, he was CEO of the Masters Champions League. Now, that was a competition set up for former international cricketers. There were 6 teams in the inaugural tournament, and it only lasted 1 year out in Dubai and Sharjah. Never went beyond 1 year. 2 more runs to Fuller. Chris Schofield, the leg spinner, to bowl his 3rd over. So what are we? 32 here off 11 deliveries. It's on. It's certainly on. Will Fuller's out there.
It is, and I think he'll be looking to take as much of the strike, especially against the leg spin of Schofield now. This could be the big over where the All-Stars need to go for it.
Fuller goes big. Has he got him big enough? I think he's safe, but it's not quite gone to the boundary. Only 1 bounce. Morris will call him through for 2. He's not quite getting hold of some of these now, Fuller, is he?
He's not. Maybe he needs the 14,000 willing him to get out around him just for that performance to come in. But I think everyone here at the Ageas today quite content in this game of cricket they're watching at the moment. It's very relaxed here.
It certainly is, isn't it? 3 a ball needed, 10 balls, 30 to win. Fuller has 31 off just 20, facing Schofield again. Short, he's gone big, he's gone long, it's gone for 4. 1 bounce up towards mid-off, up towards the pavilion. Got more of the middle out of that one.
He did, and keeping the hopes of the All-Stars alive here. A few more boundaries you would say needed off this over. So far 8 off it, but required run rate now 17 off these last few, and that's a ugly hoik into the leg side.
Haven't really got hold of that, but it's a single. But it is 3 a ball needed, so I guess victory for the Lashings there in that delivery. So what do we got? We've got 8 balls left, 25 needed. It's still on. It's still very much on. Morris misses that one, trying to work that away on the onside, and Callum Furness, perhaps a miss stumping there as well. Goes for a bye as it ricochets off his pads. One leg bye, 131 for 3. 24 needed off 7. This might yet go down to the wire, I'm sure it will. Fuller gets out now, I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, I think Fuller, this final ball of this over needs to be a boundary now for the All-Stars.
Oh, he's gone over mid-on. Has he got enough on it? I think he's got enough legs. I think that's gone for 6. No, not quite. Bounces just in front of the rope, up at the far end of the ground. Again, that's hit hard and low, but didn't get enough elevation.
Yeah, the field is signalling 4 there.
Yep.
For Wheels there, umpiring for the Hampshire All-Stars.
Chris Wheeler. So 20 off the last over. But Sean Morris is facing, although he's done a good job, 36 off 46, it's Fuller that really needs to get on strike.
It is, and you'd suspect he might just be able to give him the single now and just take a gamble on Fuller being able to hit a boundary for these remaining deliveries. But Morris hasn't exactly accelerated throughout his innings, 36 off 46, and it has been a good knock, but not quite the pace that All-Stars need in this remaining over. And
so what would you do if you were Sean Morris here? Would you just dab a single?
I would. I mean, looking at the size of the boundaries here at the game, it doesn't look like there would be any opportunity for a 3. And I mean, I don't think I would have the fitness to run a 3. So Bicknell to bowl this final over, and that's just down the leg side and signalled wide by the very generous umpire here, keeping the All-Stars' hopes alive. So an extra delivery and runs awarded to the All-Stars, and yeah, get off strike, and the likelihood of Fuller being able to hit a boundary over Morris is considerably higher as Bicknell in again, and this is worked into the leg side. There could be 2 here.
They should get 2.
But they're just going for the single as they walk between the crease. There's an understanding out there in the middle between these 2 batsmen. And what is the equation now?
18 off 5. With Fuller on strike.
A recreation of that T20 World Cup with Ben Stokes and Brathwaite bowling. Just keep it off his legs. So we've got 3 deep on the leg side and a deep cover, long on and long off, both out.
Oh, it's very nearly a no ball with a 3rd man out deep. Bicknell realised at the last moment.
Can't have that in the final overs. In he comes, and that's down the leg side, and
swatted
4
away.
runs.
Yeah.
I didn't even see
Did you
the
lose
ball.
track of that? Yeah.
I'm having a nightmare here today. I've got to get my senses. But an easy 4 runs. That's the boundary they needed off that first delivery. And a bit of a gift there from Bicknell, who will be at least hoping to keep that ball outside the off stump. So Fuller has to make a bit more of an effort to get the ball away.
I think that'd have been a wide if he'd left that one alone, but good shooting. 14 off 4. Oh, we can't go through another close game, Melissa.
It's all too much. We have all these slightly slower, more predictable games at the start of the season, and now it's just all starting to build up. God knows what the T20 Finals Day will be like at this rate. In comes Bicknell again then, and that's clipped away. This should be another boundary, and it is. 4 runs to James Fuller, and will that be his 50? Or is the scoreboard ahead of us again already?
I think it might be, yeah.
I think that may be ahead. So he moves on to 48 off 25. The equation now 10 off 3?
10 off 3, yeah. 2 boundaries in the last 2 deliveries.
This could be a complete turnaround again for Hampshire, who seem to like to take it to the final over of games to find their results. But a good bit of bowling here from Bicknell to dismiss Fuller could be what they need as he comes in, and that's hit straight back to the bowler. Dot ball. Fuller throws his bat in the air and flicks it. So 10 off 2 required.
2 boundaries. It has to be 2 boundaries now.
6 required then, and Fuller will be eyeing up the slightly shorter straight boundary, straight back over the bowler's head. In comes Bicknell. And that's a swing and a miss outside off stump. Fuller giving himself too much room.
And that's it.
That is it.
That is it, yeah.
What a game we've had. I mean, from the start, we'd probably have suspected they would not have got so close. But here they are, taking it down to the final over, of course, this charity game between Lashings 11 and Hampshire All Stars. And this final ball is smoked in the air, and that will be 6 runs to James Fuller. That brings on his 50. He will finish the game on 54 off 28 deliveries. But it's a win for the Lashings 11. They win by 4 runs.
What's the total in the end?
3 runs, was it?
Might be 3 runs, is it?
My maths is far too terrible at this. Despite the lovely compliments of Henry, I was simply reading off the board and not doing any calculations at all.
Well, if they needed 4 for the last ball, I guess, 151 for 3, so Lashings have won by 3 runs. Well, that was closer than we thought at one stage. Sean Morris finishes 37 not out. And the first of 2 games are completed. That was actually quite good, wasn't it, that, in the end?
It was very exciting. Good to see some of these legends back out there on the pitch.
Certainly was. So the Hampshire All Stars beaten by 3 runs, 151 for 3, as against the Lashings 154 for 4 earlier. Shah rolling back the years with 101 not out, coming off just 62 balls. He just got better and better as his innings wore on. They didn't start too well, the Lashings. Chris Schofield out in the first over, first ball. James Tomlinson picking up a wicket there. Richard Levy making 9. Alfonso Thomas picking him up. And then James Troughton bowled by John Turner for no score. Turner picking up his second when he bowled Chris Adams for 23. The Hampshire All Stars innings didn't get underway very good either. Jimmy Adams out in the first over as well. Charles Willoughby picking him up, caught behind by Hugo Hammond, the Love Island star and Hampshire disability player and England disability player. Sean Irvine making just 7. Devon Malcolm picking him up, of course caught behind by Hammond, and Hammond picking up a stumping. Paul Pritchard, the Essex captain, former Essex captain, making 40, 71 for 3. Hampshire were then in the 13th, and they made a pretty good fist of it in the end, losing this game by just 3 runs. So that's us done for the first half of this game. Don't forget, of course, today is all about the charities. It's a charity double header. Just one final time, just a reminder before we take a break ahead of the second game this afternoon. We are raising funds for the NHS and Southampton Hospitals charity. You can see on your screen, you can text NHS 20 to 70085 to donate £5, and there are still auction lots available. Just go to the ageasbowl.com website, put in ageasbowl.com/auction, and there is an online auction that you can get involved with, and that is going all the way through to 7 o'clock this evening, and it's all to support and build of a new rehabilitation space at the University Hospital Southampton. Hope you've enjoyed our commentary. Great to have Henry Blofeld on with us a little earlier, rolling back the years there as well. Was good old Henry. Myself, Kevin James and Melissa Story will be back with you just before 2:30 when we'll bring you live commentary of the Southern Vipers against the South East Stars in the Charlotte Edwards Trophy.